The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry.
Hey, Lucifer.
Good evening, good sir. How the devil art thou?
I art fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. How the devil art thou?
Not too shabby, thank you very much.
Oops. My Mac's just gone into weird night mode there, so I'm fixing it. That's good. It's always good to be not too shabby, unless you're a tramp. The shabbier the
Absolutely.
better. Got the right background, played the right intro this week. That's 2 times in a row, you know. Yes, doing well. So we're going out on the old Facebook, and we're going out on YouTube, and we're going out on Twitch. So to that one person,
hello, one
Twitch,
person on Twitch.
I'm not letting them hang. I'm keeping them going. So okay, who we got? Hi there, not my monkey, not my circus, and evening peeps.
Evening peep.
I like that My Heritage tweet that Peeps put out earlier on. It was a what is it? Was it the Rembrandt? Not the Rembrandt, but the holy picture of Mary, whatever it is. It was painted over. You know, it was a grotesque kind of thing.
Yeah.
It worked really well. It's quite funny. So yeah, what we doing? I changed. Those of you who are eagle-eyed might notice that I changed the thumbnail. Because I just thought I just shattered. I'm not drawing any kind of like sketch cards tonight, and I imagined that it'd be a good idea to talk about zombie flesh eaters to get us started tonight on the show. Yes. Also, because what we're going to do is we're going to try and cut that segment out so that I can upload it again as a pre-recorded video. Blah, ha, ha, ha. We'll see how that goes, because we're just not getting the time to do our video nasties because we're so busy, aren't we, Lucifer? Yes. We're so busy.
Yes, incredibly so. I've forgotten what sleep is like.
Yeah, sleep, perchance to dream. I know. Everything's ramping up. So that's the plan tonight. I fancy a nibble. Hey ho. Me too, but I'm on a diet. I know. I'm on a diet, just my health, really, more than anything. And I'm drinking proper water with nothing in it tonight. I know it's got bubbles. It's posh, proper water.
You're not Wullie. What have you done with him?
I know. What have I done with him? Just I'm coming out the closet. I'm on a diet. So I've cut the drink out because if I have a wee drink, next thing you know, meringues, chocolate, crisps, you know.
Yeah.
Boom,
I need
extra large.
I need to do the same. I've put on a few extra lockdown pounds. Yeah,
I like that as well. Originally, I was saying it was just the extra hair that was doing it, but now you can just get so far with that one. Sleep is for wimps. Yeah, I know. I'm a wimp these days. Straight watch, you madman. I know. Yes. Oh, you're on the Merlot. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice glass of Merlot.
Hello there, Mr. Bakewell. How are you this evening?
Mr. B, how the devil art thou?
I'm stretching away here. So we changed the thumbnail, and then I forgot because I put the same tweets every week, like at the same times, and I always forget. If I never change the thumbnail, I forget to go into the Hootsuite and change the thumbnails and that. So it's sending it tweets with the old thumbnails, and I was like, what the hell? So it's only you guys, you not mind. So yeah, going to do a bit of the old Fulci zombie flesh eaters tonight.
Oh yes.
Or what we can remember of it.
Oh yes.
First up, I'm going to pull up the campaigns because you're supposed to do that sort of thing, and just because I'm interested to see where they are and how we're doing. So I'm going to share the screen. Getting application window. That's what I want to do. No, it's not. It's Chrome tab, isn't it? No, it's not. Application window. Have they changed this? I think they may have.
Possibly.
We shall see. Right.
Evening.
So there you go. The Satan that is Lady.
Oh yeah.
That's doing all right now, isn't it? Yeah.
It's
That's
doing all right.
okay.
We're getting closer to that second stretch goal, and I've just added a new tier where you get pretty much everything. You get a hardcover, you get the digital, you get all the prints and the poster, but you also get an original hand-drawn pencil sketch of Lady Satan as well.
Jolly good. Are they limited, or is that
Yes,
like
one? There is just one.
Just one very limited.
Yes, because most of it's done digitally. I haven't really done a lot traditionally for it. So that pencil sketch is a one of a kind. However, I may make it two because I started penciling one earlier. I don't know how well you can see that because of my lights.
Oh, hang on. I'll give it the big.
But yeah, started penciling one earlier. So
right,
I might ink this one so that you've got one that's a pencil sketch and one that's a ink and pencil.
Jolly good. Right, so cool. So yeah, Lady Satan, you all know what that is. There might be somebody watching out there, but person on Twitch. Don't know who that is. That person on Twitch might be interested.
They might.
They might. Well, I've got another backer this week. Hey.
Nice.
I know, they went digital. See, people do want digital and they do go digital. So that was good. So yeah, there we go. There's Pete, there's Armand Broussard, Werewolf Hunter. And there's Mr. Goodwin himself. And there's the lovely Elsa. So I'm not going to back down all the way down here because you've all seen it. It's got the Tatty Bogle Man print for everybody. It's got the Bampot trading card for everybody. Actually, I'm going to go back down here. Watch your eyeballs as I zooms in. Because we're getting closer. We are getting there. We are getting closer to Stato's print. So, yeah.
We have to hit that stretch goal, man. We
do.
That print is too good not to be out there for people to have.
Yep. It's now getting there. We'll get to 4,000. We're there. It's over $5,000 in dollars. It looks good when you look at it in dollars. I like looking at it in dollars. But yeah, and please do sign up for Tales of Mystery and Imagination as well. I'm not going to play the video again this week. It's dead loud. But please share and sign up for that one. It'll be starting immediately after Reels to Dark. Blah, blah, blah. All the usual stuff. But you just record that wee bit, play it before we come in. But yeah, stop screen share. Boom. Right, I'm going to do a wee bit of drawing tonight after we've done a wee bit of chatting. But I'm not going to share it because it's stuff I can't show. Spoiler stuff, I know. There's only so much you can show. I
know, right? If I could show it all, I would, but just can't. It would ruin the experience.
Indeed. Probably my favourite gut muncher ever, says Pete. Yeah, we're going to try and do an actual. this if this works. Now we're doing the video nasty videos where we just don't have the time to do them, Pete. So we're going to try and talk about it tonight, and then I'm going to be able to cut it out and upload it again by dropping a few extra things in the edit, and we'll get it up there. So that's the plan. And the hola.
Evening, Adams.
Yeah. So I don't know. We never got to see your pre-sale video last week. No,
we didn't. I've still got them down here if you want to see them.
Do you want to start with one of those? Just one. We need to kind of just drip feed them because we need them for every week.
Yeah, we do. I bought out my zombie flesh eaters one again for the chat, but we've already seen that one. Isn't it gorgeous though? It's lovely. I'm gonna have to unfortunately, as some of you people may or may not know, when it comes to VHS, sometimes the older ones, they start getting that white mold on the reels, and this one's starting to do that. So I'm going to have to get some isopropyl alcohol and actually go into the tape and clean it off, which it sounds like a really long job, but it isn't. It's about, 20 minutes, half an hour at the most. So it's worth it to keep these things preserved. But the other one that I've randomly chosen is Pranks.
Oh, right.
Oh, yes. It's been a while since I've seen this one. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Not the VHS though.
No.
You save that for special occasions. This is a lovely one.
That might very well be the first and last time I saw that movie. When I rented that VHS, maybe not that exact copy, but it might have been that VHS.
And check it out, they were so proud of the movie that they had no pictures on the back.
No pictures on the back. Yep.
But it's a lovely little one to get. Like, I don't see this one like popping up too often. And like, if you do see it, you can probably pick it up for like about 15, 20 quid. Like, it's definitely on the cheaper side, but it just doesn't come up that often. So,
right, I cannot for the life of me even remember whether it's worth watching or not.
Same here, because it's been that long.
Oh, that wasn't on the list, was it?
It depends. If you're going by the list of the 72, it was, but I don't think it was on the DPP 39 list.
No, yeah. Okay.
I think it was on the other half.
It didn't have a ghastly enough cover to make that list.
No, it didn't get fully prosecuted.
Yeah, because that was mostly based on what the cover was for those films. It was nothing at all to do with content. In most cases, it was just how garish the cover was. They'd be like, "Oh no, the youth."
We must think of the children and the dogs. Don't forget the dogs, Graham.
The children and the dogs. Yeah, I know. Cats can fend for themselves,
but dogs, they can't do shit.
Well, they can, but even they need help with that, don't they? Yes.
Yes, I remember that bit.
Get that on the cover, and it would have made the top tier of the list. Yeah, it would have been properly up there.
The funny thing is when Vipco like released it years and years, like in the mid 90s, they put it out on VHS and like DVD as well. That was the cover, if I remember correctly. It was the head boiling in the pot, and it had like the blue thing on it that said "fully uncut."
Right. Yeah. No, I don't remember that one. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I remember that one because that would have been in the book that I picked the videos from in the rental place I went to. They didn't have them all out. They were in the book, and you went through the book, and that's the cover of that. Thank you very much. I say hello to Drift Limited.
Good evening, Drift.
Yes, indeed. Strong uncut version.
Yes, he knows. Good man, Drift. Good man.
It's got to have it on the label inside as well, doesn't it? Because it's got is it not printed on the label or something, or am I thinking of?
Yeah, it's stamped on the label.
Stamped on the label, that's right.
So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it there, but like there's a red stamp right there.
Yep. Right.
That says strong uncut version, so that's the one that you want to get.
Yep.
Because there is another version of the pre-cert that isn't the strong uncut version, and you really don't want that. They're cheap as chips, and it's cut to shreds.
Is that another one that says it's uncut as well? I don't know. Because the first version to come out, was that not a cut version?
Yeah, I believe the first version to come out was a cut version. Vipco then put out the strong uncut version, and they advertised it as strong uncut version because originally in the cinema it was cut. So when they got the rights to put it out on VHS, they were like, "Oh, we can make loads of money if we let everyone know strong uncut version." And then, of course, that's when the Video Nasty scandal happened. They took it off the shelves and everything. Later on, Vipco did a different video release. I think this was like early 90s, where it claimed to be the strong uncut version, but it was cut to shreds. And then kind of like late 90s, early 2000s, when they re-released it for DVD and VHS as well, it said strong uncut version, and it certainly was.
Yeah, Vipco were a wee bit shady with their marketing practices, to say the least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also they're mastering some terrible copies they put out. Some,
God,
just really bad quality movies. Good movies, but bad quality VHSs they put out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So okay, let's just talk about it. But I was going to do this as a bit and start it, but I'll just edit it, cut it in the edit. We'll just keep our faces on camera and cut it in the edit and see what happens. Okay, so we're looking at Zombie, to give it its proper name, isn't it?
Well, it depends on where you're from, isn't it? because in the UK it's zombie flesh eaters.
Yep.
In America it's zombie, but in Europe it's zombie 2.
Right.
Because in Europe the first zombie
true.
was Dawn of the Dead.
Zombie was Dawn of the Dead. So that was recut and rescored by Dario Argento with Goblin doing the score, and that was Zombie, of course. So Zombie 2 was the unofficial sequel to that movie. So it was an unofficial sequel to Romero's Dawn of the Dead, which was not unusual at the time because Italian cinema was infamous for not giving a damn about copyright in any way whatsoever. So hence why there's 900 odd Django movies out there. Yes. They just didn't care. So we have Zombie 2, of course you're correct, not Zombie. Zombie 2, to give it its original Italian title. I always think if it's a title was given in its home country, that's the main title of the movie.
Yeah.
But in this case, Zombie Flesh Eaters is such an infamous title. It's definitely the better title, the title that most people know it by. Yeah, absolutely. But in America, all the releases there have been Zombie 2, haven't they?
They've all been Zombie, as far as I know. There's a few Zombie 2 releases in the US. But a lot of US collectors, like if you just find like the average audience, they'll call it Zombie, but like the hardcore people still call it Zombie Flesh Eaters over there, or Zombie 2.
They went Zombie over there. That's what's confused me. And then they went Zombie 3 for the unofficial sequel to Zombie 2. It's so confusing, guys. It's so confusing. It's unreal. We don't even want to talk about Australia. I believe they start at number 5 or 4 or something like that again, and kind of go on with it. But this was directed by Lucio Fulci. So when did you first see Zombie Flesh Eaters, and how did you first see it?
Oh, great story. When I was a kid, I was just preparing to leave school. My sister had just got married to this guy who was like really awesome and stuff. And he grew up watching like the video nasties before the scandal came out and stuff. So he was well versed in them. And Zombie Flesh Eaters was one of his favorites. And at the time, this new video store near me had opened, and the guy who ran it did loads of like bootleg VHS and stuff. Like I would go in there all the time and be like, "Hey man, have you got a copy of like Cannibal Holocaust or whatever?" "Yeah, sure. Here's £5. Here's a copy." And they were like really good, like first generation duplicates. And I stayed over my sister's house one night, and me and her husband, we stayed up late just like watching horror movies and stuff. And he was like, "Have you ever seen Zombie Flesh Eaters?" And I was like, "I've never even heard of it." And he was like, "I'm trying to get a copy, but I can't find one anywhere because they're all cut. I want an uncut version." So I went to this video store, said to them, "Do you have Zombie Flesh Eaters by any chance?" And he was like, "Yes, I do. Here you go. That's £5. Lovely. Here's my £5. I'm only like 16, 17 at the time, just like leaving school. And I just took it round one evening and I was like, "I got Zombie Flesh Eaters for you." And we just stayed up all night drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, and just watching Zombie Flesh Eaters. And it was one of the best experiences of my life.
I just walked in and picked it up off the video store before it was banned. So I was 15 or 16 at the time. When was it released? Was it 81 on VHS? Read about then, 82, 83, something like that.
Yeah, it was about 81, 82, I think.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have just picked it off. I would have been from the book. You know.
Yeah.
It probably was a pirated copy as well, to be honest, in the book, but it was uncut. Probably because it was a camcorder from a cinema or something. The originals, no, it wouldn't be, because it was that would have been cut because it was cut in the cinema over here. So I just rented it and went in blind, as it were, with no real knowledge at the time of Fulci or what I was going to be seeing. And so what did I see? How do you explain Zombie Flesh Eaters to somebody who's not seen it? Because you could start talking about the plot, but the plot doesn't really matter. I don't think that the plot's all over the place. There's holes in the plot and everything. It's all about tone and atmosphere, this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, like there's a few beats that resemble plot that you would see in like most movies, but they're kind of like glossed over very quickly. They mostly happen towards the beginning of the movie, like having that inciting incident and then the call to adventure and then crossing the threshold. And once you get past that point, plot really doesn't matter. You're just going with the flow that the characters are going on. You're discovering stuff just as they're discovering it as well. But occasionally, just to keep the viewer interested, they'll cut away to something that's happening on the other side of the island, just to go, look, there are zombies. Don't worry, there's gory stuff coming. It's all good.
Yep, yeah. I think the one thing that stands out when you first see it, especially on a kind of grainy VHS, is the gore.
Yes.
And it's got the infamous scene with the wooden splinter going into the woman's eyeball, which is obviously fake, but anything to do with something going towards an eyeball, I think you automatically have a visceral effect when you're watching it. Even if it looks as if it's going to be fake, you kind of like, oh my God, what am I looking at here? It's got that kind of stuff going on, all the usual kind of the guts and maggots. And the zombies, unlike the George Romero zombies, are really decomposed and dripping and grotesque. And they're more like the zombies that you would have got in an old EC comic.
Yes.
Than they are the zombies from the George Romero films, or at least from the Romero films at that time.
Yeah.
But the one thing you don't get when you watch it originally on VHS is how good it looks. The cinematography, it's a gorgeous looking movie. It's really, really nice to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. And the music is very complimentary for all the scenes as well, although you do get that tiny bit of score that pops up every now and then that's kind of like a cool island song that almost gives it a jovial kind of feel for a few seconds, but then there's that hard cut in the audio and you're back to reality. These people are in danger because of these zombies.
Yeah, it's got that, well, it has that Italian sort of like sense of it's quite classy with the score, but at the same time it's trashy. And a lot of the film, especially from the 70s onwards, they have that kind of lounge music appeal quality to them, and that a little bit, I think that's what you're talking there, that kind of slips in there as well. So it's an odd score, but it's a really good score. It's worth searching out as well. I'm checking. It's Fabio Frizzi, because I've got it here in front of me, and Giorgio Tucci. And they don't roll off the tongue the way Ennio Morricone does. But Sergio Salvati was the guy who was in charge of the cinematography for this film. And what you find, a lot of people that are making these movies in Italy at that time were also working on what you would call art house movies as well. So he worked with people like Pasolini, in his movies. So there was this whole kind of crossover between the artists and the auteurs from the art world, and also the auteurs from the trash world. I think Lucio Fulci kind of thought of himself as being more of an auteur and an artist than a lot of people did.
Yeah, definitely. But this is probably one of his more coherent stories that he's told.
Yes.
And it's very rare. Normally, a lot of the trashier movies from that time look much better on VHS than they do on DVD or even Blu-ray. But this one, Zombie Flesh Eaters, it looks great on VHS, it looks great on DVD, and it looks spectacular on Blu-ray because of that cinematography. It just pulls you in, just sucks you in, and you're just, once you're in there, you don't want to leave.
Yep. Pete in the chat mentions one thing that kind of stands out for me. It could be any number of these things, but it's the last thing. It's the shark.
Yes.
You're not going to get a zombie movie anywhere where you have a zombie versus a shark. You might nowadays have Sharknado, but it wouldn't be the same.
No, because it'd be all CGI. Whereas when you watch this, that zombie is a real guy in makeup fighting a real fucking shark, and you're like, how did they pull this one off?
It's not a dolphin in makeup, it's a proper shark. And you can see the zombie kind of makeup sort of like mask sort of like moving and stuff under the water, because it's a guy in a zombie suit underwater. But it's a bonkers movie when it comes to things like that. They just come at you from left field, and you're like, what am I watching? but that's the kind of thing that makes you continue watching it, I think. It's got Ian McCulloch, who was in lots of these movies. I think he had quite a few movies that were in the banned list as well, didn't he? I think so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what they were.
Yeah, I'm going to have a wee check because I've got it here, unless I'm thinking of somebody else. Because he was in Zombie Holocaust.
Yes.
And Contamination. Did that ever make any of the lists? Contamination.
Yes, Contamination.
Yeah.
I can't remember whether it was section 2 or 3, but it was on the list.
Yeah. So, of course, I mentioned him because in order to make everything just that little bit better, you need to have a wee dose of Scottishness in there. So he is, of course, or was, of course, a Scottish actor. So a little bit of extra that he adds to it. And it's got Tisa Farrow as well. She made a few too. They would always get these British or American or Australian actors in there for the international market. And kind of like spaghetti westerns, I think there were also people that were just talking whatever language they normally talked, and then they were dubbed into English, and you can see that because the lips just don't match up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Zombie Flesh Eaters. To talk about Lucio Fulci, is this one of his best movies?
I personally think so, but to pinpoint an exact kind of like this is the best of his, hands down, nothing else compares, is really difficult. I find that with Lucio Fulci's movies, they're either really good and they're there with movies like Zombie Flesh Eaters and The Beyond, or they're on the complete opposite side where you're like, why do people love this director so much? There's no kind of gray area with his filmography.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I think there's a whole kind of section of movies from Zombie Flesh Eaters onwards, like into the early 80s, where they're all worth watching. So you've got like City of the Living Dead and The Beyond and The Black Cat and the infamous New York Ripper, and then something odd like Conquest. That's a really odd one.
Yes.
It's kind of like this weird sword and sorcery movie. But he's interesting to me because he has the ability to be artistic and to say something in his work.
Yeah.
But he can't stop himself from being as trashy as possible in practically every movie that he makes. And I quite like that. He even made a spaghetti western 4 of the Apocalypse, which is pretty interesting too. So he's like most Italian directors, he's dabbled in whatever was popular at the time and made movies there.
And because of that, it gives his films kind of like a very surrealist quality to them.
Yeah, I think the cinematography, the use of kind of like slow motion and the kind of like especially The Beyond. If anybody is watching this and have never looked at a Lucio Fulci movie, that's the one to watch, I think.
Definitely.
That gives you, that's like almost like his greatest hits in one package. And I watched that. I remember getting that in VHS and watching it twice. Like I watched it and then I just had to rewind it and watch it again.
Yes.
Into the small hours watching this movie and thinking, I don't need to go to school in the morning, so I'll just keep watching the same movie over and over again. Because there were no other directors making movies quite like that.
Yeah. You definitely recognize Fulci's thumbprint on a movie. Like you can't look at his movies and say this reminds me of a Dario Argento movie or anything like that. Fulci has a distinct aesthetic to it.
Do you think that his zombies were more influential in what came after than Romero's?
That's a difficult one. Because with Romero was very good at saying something has happened to cause the dead to walk again, but we're not going to tell you what it is. And each character has their theory. And I think that's what made Romero's zombies really quite influential. Whereas Fulci doesn't beat around the bush, especially in Zombie Flesh Eaters. He's like, this is voodoo. There's no other explanation. It just is what it is. So for someone like me, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that he's gone to voodoo rather than saying it's a virus or something like that. But I think people connect with Romero's just that little bit easier because stylistically, they look a little. To me, I think the Fulci zombies look much better because they're that little bit more realistic, whereas Romero's zombies look cool. So I think people attach themselves to the Romero zombies. I worked on a zombie movie many years ago called Convention of the Dead, and one of the first rules, if you were a character that became a zombie, and I was, one of the first rules was you can't drag one of your legs like a Romero zombie does. And there were all these rules that all related to Romero zombies. So I think, unfortunately, Romero zombies were more influential, but I think Fulci deserved it more.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I think Romero's are definitely more influential for a lot of things you're saying there. Also, that social commentary, and they had character. Like you're talking about the leg dragging, and there was something of a human assemblage that remained with them, even though it was gone. It was almost like they remembered being human. I think Fulci zombies, because I mentioned already, they harken back more to the illustrations from EC Comics.
Yes,
they're more like my Tati Bogoman in their visual. It's like it's trying to evoke something that you've seen in the past, and also bringing in the voodoo stuff as well, and that all the old kind of like horror stories to do with zombies. So I think because he does that, it's cool because it's like a modern take on that. But they lack the originality that Romero had with his zombies, or at least for the first couple of movies that he did. I'd say the first 3 movies. So if I were going to mark it, I'd have to always go with Romero just for the influence that he's had.
I can understand that.
But I do think that Fulci's for a couple of years after this were more influential on the B-movie side of things, definitely.
Yes.
Than Romero's, because it was easier to take this approach.
Plus Fulci wasn't afraid to experiment with his zombies after Zombie Flesh Eaters. I mean, there was the follow-up to Zombie Flesh Eaters where he did do some work on it, but then it was taken over by the guy who directed Troll 2. So it kind of went a bit batshit crazy at that point. But that was like one of the first times you saw zombies running.
Yep.
Was in that movie.
Was that the one that was Zombie 3?
It was, Zombie 3, but Zombie Flesh Eaters 2 over here.
Yep, Zombie 3. Yep, and got you. Yeah. As Pete's mentioned in his chat, they've always reminded me of Grimsdyke as well for Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that they had images and photographs of Peter Cushing in the scene then, because you harken back to the makeup effects done in earlier years. That's what good makeup artists did in the movies, didn't it? They paid homage to what had gone before. So Zombie Flesh. So we talked about the music, we talked about the cinematography, we talked about the zombies.
Of course.
We paid lip service to the actors because they're not that important, I don't think.
No, not really. Like the characters, you don't. When one of the characters dies, you don't go, "Oh no, I liked them." You're just like, "Yes, a horror scene, a gore scene's come up, fantastic."
Yeah, exactly. You want to see the deaths, and you want it to be as fantastic as possible. It does have. I'm just checking here because another actor from the Royal Shakespeare Company is Richard Johnson. So you got these actors that are all kind of like classically trained, and then their claim to fame is they were in Zombie Flesh Eaters. So I'm sure they loved that.
They may not have at the time, but I'm sure they appreciate it now.
I always think of poor old Alec Guinness. He hated the fact that everybody just knew him from Star Wars.
Yes.
You got to think, well, I mean, he could have been in Zombie Flesh Eaters, mate.
Exactly.
But, which was for me, you the pinnacle of any career to be in Zombie Flesh Eaters. So I think Zombie Flesh Eaters stands out in most people's minds as one of the main video nasties, even though it wasn't one of the main video nasties, because you already touched on that when we started talking about it. And I think that is, again, because of the cover more than anything, because it has actually got a good cover and a good poster, which, again, harkens back to the EC Comics with a hand coming out of the grave. something that I ripped off in my origin for the Tatty Bobbin one again. So everything comes round to me just plugging, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, which is coming out in July, and you can get onto the mailing list right now. So everything comes back to that. So Zombie Flesh Eaters, he made a few of the zombie movies, and then went back to doing things like the New York Ripper, which we'll touch upon in its own in a few weeks' time. I think we'll talk about the New York Ripper.
Yes, because I need a good excuse to rewatch that.
Yeah, I mean, Zombie Flesh Eaters is great, but I think that's a film you could talk for hours about all kind of intricacies with that movie, all kind of things to do with it, not least the controversy of it.
Well, yeah.
But Zombie Flesh Eaters, like, if somebody's coming to it fresh and they don't know what they're going to get, is it a film that stands up today to be watched as a horror movie?
Well, I rewatched it recently, and I mean like a couple of weeks ago, and I dug out my Arrow Video Blu-ray, stuck that on, and I think I enjoyed it more seeing it now than I did back then. But then again, I've probably got a bias to it because I love this movie. I've already seen it. I think if you showed it to someone who was like half my age, kind of like in their early 20s, and they'd never experienced any Italian cinema, any giallo kind of cinema or trash cinema, they would probably be really horribly bored by it and then never speak to you again if you showed it to them. I think they would probably walk away from it and go, I was bored, although I did wake up when the splinter went into her eye and when the zombie fought the shark. That's all they'll probably remember it from it, I would think.
Yeah, I think it stands up if you watch a good print and you're aware of the pacing of the kind of movie that was made in the late 70s, and you go along with that. But if it wouldn't be the movie I would show to people, Beyond is a movie I would show to people, even City of the Living Dead is a movie I would show to people before Zombie Flesh Eaters, and then I think they could probably appreciate this movie more after that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it holds up, but like I said, I really love this movie, so of course I'm going to say that.
Well, Pete's watched it more than the Romero stuff. I think the trashy kind of qualities to it kind of draw you back to it.
Oh, yes.
I've watched Dawn of the Dead probably more than all the other zombie movies put together.
Same here.
Yeah, so and it's many different cuts. I am biased towards that movie. I think it's one of my top 10 movies of all time.
Oh, easy.
But Zombie Flesh Eaters would be one of my top 10 trash video rentals of all time. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that. I don't think it would get into the top 5 of the trash video rentals for me, but definitely in the top 10.
No, it would have to fight past a few Albert Pyun movies to get in there. Right. Anyway, that's Zombie. That was the whole that Zombie Flesh Eaters. We started tonight chatting about that. That's Zombie Flesh Eaters.
Yeah.
I'm going to chop this bit out and I'm going to put it out as its own wee video. Sneaky or what, guys? Co-starring the chat. Yes. Oh, right. I'm going to try and draw something while we're talking. Cool. Guys, what's happening? What's going on out there? Oh, hey, Christine.
Christine,
there's Mark too. Hey, Mark. Yeah.
Evening, Commie. How the devil art thou?
Distracted working. I know it's shocking. It's like I'm distracted working all the time these days. That seems to be all what I do.
A lot like my to watch list, my work list. The more I tackle on it, the larger it grows instead of fucking shrinks.
Oh, it's like I don't have time to watch anything right now.
Same here.
I have a case of like I got half an hour. I'm going to put my feet up and do something. So I'll read something. So. Oh, this is the one that came today. So, there you go. That's a Harvey Kurtzman, Man and Superman, and other stories from the EC library for Fantagraphics. Nice. Still kind of get used to being reversed in the camera there. yeah, I had a wee read at a couple of those, and I'll work my way through that over the next week. And what else I've been looking at? I dug this out. Right. It's the original Jerry Cornelius Quartet, Michael Moorcock. Have you partaken of the Jerry Cornelius books?
I have not.
They are. I wrote about these in my higher English. This was back in the day when English exams were hard. So the final program, you might have seen the movie.
Okay.
I'm just wondering. Actually, I might actually have it lying about here. I don't know. Just talk amongst yourselves.
So, Chad, how are you? How the devil art thou? So good to see so many of you.
I only do. So I've got the movie just lying about here for the final program, directed by Robert Faust, who made the Dr. Phibes movies, and starring John Finch as Jerry Cornelius. The Jerry Cornelius, if you've read The Invisibles by Grant Morrison, he rips it off mercilessly in there. And Michael Moorcock can't stand Grant Morrison because he thinks he's just a plagiarist or something like that. So I've heard, call the lawyers. I didn't say that out loud, did I? No, that was what he thinks. But I highly recommend these books for kind of like trippy 60s, 70s sort of like postmodern science fiction. Nice. They don't link together in any way. It's like he could die at the end of one book and be alive at the next one. It's like it's all very kind of weird stuff. But I dug them out because I want to have a wee look at them again and maybe kind of. I don't want to start reading a new book, so I can just kind of dive in and read the odd wee chapter every kind of time I get a wee break and just get free my brain. It's easier than putting on a movie or something. That's what I've been doing.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I've been reading a comic from, I think it's the early 90s.
Yes, I think it does, Pete. I think it does, yeah.
I'm going to have to check out that movie because I don't think I've seen it.
I haven't watched the movie in a while. I got that DVD fairly cheap. I'm surprised I got it. It's Network that do it, and it comes in a wee thin. It can be thin case you normally just get in box sets, but it came in that. Michael Moorcock, not a big fan of the movie, so he's not. I quite like the movie. It's
I'll have to check it out. But like you, like the workload's so heavy at the moment. Trying to get the chance to sit down and watch a movie is just next to fucking impossible at the moment. I'm lucky if I can get in half an hour of a TV show or something. So I've been reading a comic. I think it's from the early 90s. I'm not sure. I've heard of it before, but I don't know too much about it. Called Dog Witch. There was only like 18 issues. I think it was Sirius who published it. And even though it's an American published book, it's clearly an English comic. The writing is so English. It's unreal. And the characters, they look kind of American, but they use so much British slang that it's like there's no way this is not a British comic because it's too well written. It's not like an American's tried using British euphemisms and stuff and failed. It's so spot on with the dialogue that it uses, and it's just
Pete's read it. Dan Schaefer.
That's the one, Pete. And it's like I'm only like 3 issues in. Oh, nice one, Adams. Nice one. Yeah, I've read like the first 3 issues. Like I found like digital copies. I'm not going to say where or how. But yeah, it's just that old school independent black and white. It's clearly from like the outlaw sector of like comics in that time. So it speaks to me instantly. And like you can see that like characters like Hack Slash have clearly taken like a little tiny influence from it. Like it may not have been like a big name in its time because it was overshadowed by things like The Crow and Faust and Spawn. But it's been so worth reading. It's quite humorous as well, but it's that like that slightly dark black humor to it rather than a gallows humor.
So it was so it's 2002 it came out. So yeah.
Shit, I thought.
But then this is Wikipedia. That's probably wrong.
Oh yeah.
But no, I recognise the covers, but no, I've never read this. I couldn't have told you anything about it. But I wasn't reading much in the way of comics at that particular time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's definitely it's proper underground. It looks interesting stuff.
It's nice artwork. I really love the artwork, and like it's got a lot of heavy blacks in it, but that doesn't bog it down or anything, and it stays away from like using zipper tone and stuff. It's that more like the harsh darks, dark black and like pure brilliant white with it. Yeah, this is the stuff.
It's the stuff. Share the screen for anybody who doesn't.
And it's just trashy. It's just really trashy, but funny as well. The fact that you've got this goth girl who's clearly a witch, she's stuck in like this certain town that she can't leave and stuff, and like she's a very different witch. Like she doesn't like use like your normal black magic kind of stuff. She uses, I'm trying to remember how they word it in the book, but I think it's sex magic using erotokinetic energy.
Of course it is.
You know, which makes perfect sense. And like her two companions, her sidekicks, are a stuffed dog that, like a stuffed toy dog, that is, not a taxidermist dog, who's got a video camera who just films everything that she does. And whenever she has a weird adventure, they put it onto a VHS tape and they go to like the local Blockbuster and go, here's our next movie. And the guy there makes loads of copies and sells it under the counter to weirdos. And she's also got like a haunted doll that's come to life, and it's got like a real scarred, fucked up face that keeps saying to her like, "You don't want to do that. It's not going to end well."
Ah, right. Oh, I might give that a wee looky then. Yep.
Yeah, it's worth having a flick for. I don't think it's going to be something that everyone like kind of enjoys, but for something that's kind of like a no-brainer kind of story that you can just, you know, you can pick up any issue. And it doesn't matter which issue it is. You can just jump in, and it's self-contained.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, this is trashy. It's not high art or high premise or anything like that. And it's just 10 minutes later, you're like, cool, I just read a comic. I've read a lot worse comics than this. I have read some better comics than this, though.
Yeah, well, that's everything, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, as Pete points out, he wrote Doghouse, which I think we've all seen that.
Yes.
Yep. Back in the day, size of a planet he's playing. But no, he comes clean. He's just a big Jake West, Emily Booth fanboy. Yeah, basic stuff then, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, beginners kind of stuff. Anyone could do it, really. yes, it definitely.
Yep, their own personal Chucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not buying, you're not lying, pieces. Okay, cool. You know, I was saying when we started drawing, and I'm sitting back, and I just can't be bothered. Just really changed that thumbnail. I was drawing up until we started here, as you can tell. You know,
yeah,
fully loaded, working away. Yeah.
See, I keep drawing stuff and then I get distracted because more stuff for the campaign keeps turning up. I
just draw stuff and then I realise, seriously, should have just worked on a style before I get started with anything. I should have streamlined my style first, not drawing the first few pages in the style I was using. It would have made life a lot easier. But
yep, I'm right with you on that one because
But you know, yeah, people are getting their money's worth. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
I'm committed now. That it's not like the book looks bad or anything. It's just the time that it takes and things like I put in the order for the patches for all the backers the other day, and then I had an email from the company that was going to be making the patches, and they said, "Yeah, we've got a problem. Your design is too detailed. It won't print."
So
I was like, "Oh, fuck's sake!"
I'm dropping everything here. I did one more werewolf with a Conti pencil, right? So to answer Pete's question, I've drawn 5. So you
Nice.
could. So I'm not quite sure how many more that is I need to draw. I've done 5, but yes, all of them. Adam says, yeah. Yeah, all of them. But as I proved last week, I can do them quite quickly. So, so I'll knock them out. So these are all the cards I'm going to be using.
Nice.
But yeah, I'll probably get some done next week. Maybe. It's more important to get the comics all on the go and get them done, because I want to make sure I hit the deadlines with those.
Yes.
Cards I can sit down. I can sit down with a mug of coffee.
Yeah.
8:30 one morning and just spend a whole day drawing sketch cards and get them done. That'd be quite relaxing, because it's not really that much like work when you're doing them. It's quite therapeutic. Yeah.
Yeah. And like before I started using digital, like penciling a page, it'd take me a day. And then I started doing my work digitally, and I was like, wow, this has speeded up the process so much. And now the roles have reversed. If I do it digitally, it takes me longer than a day to work on a page. But if I pencil a page like traditionally, it takes about a day. So I may just go back to that for some of the book, just to like stay on top of the deadline.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me. I've got to go digital. Just kind of like it's just, doing sketch cards and stuff like that, and one off. But doing actual full comic pages right now, I could not go back and do a full comic page. Never actually have done a full comic page that I was happy with,
right?
Until I started working digital. And even then, I'm still not happy with most of the pages I do. But no, just never particularly happy with it. I much prefer. I don't like inking. I like to just draw with pencil. So when I'm working digitally, I can draw with a pencil, and it looks like I'm using ink. It looks like I'm using a brush.
Yeah.
So that's why I stick with digital.
Yeah, that's understandable. But I tell you now, whether I'm working traditionally or digitally, I'm never happy with a page. There's always like at least one panel that I'm like, this page would be great if it wasn't for that fucking panel there. And whenever I show the page to people, the panel that I hate is normally the panel they love.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. You can never second guess what people are going to like.
Yeah.
Even things you think are obvious, people don't notice, so they don't care about, which is more important. Because the narrative is more important. If you can follow the story, if you can get caught up in that, then it doesn't really matter what's happening with the images. So I always get annoyed when people are reviewing comics, and you see a lot with the kind of like the video reviews where they get caught up in the sort of like the details of like a part of a panel and all this kind of stuff, as if that's part of the reviewing process. No, review the narrative, review the style, review the atmosphere of it, and then subjectively let us know what you think of it. And if it's good and you like it, great. If it's bad and you don't like it, then start going into the minutiae and start pointing out why it's bad and why it's not working. That's what I think.
I completely agree.
I get kind of turned off by pretty much everybody that reviews comics online. because of that. I think they're losing sight of the big picture when they start kind of like nitpicking.
Absolutely. Plus, I think like we're at that point now where we like modern music that's put out there is like done to like a track. It's done to everything's clipped down. Okay, so that it is absolutely perfect. There's no nuance. The kind of like the human element to the musicians is kind of taken away, because if you've got like one note that's like slightly offbeat by like a fraction of a millisecond, the producer will go, no, let's snap that to the grid. Okay, so now that's perfect. And it's a similar thing with like movies and TV shows. They don't have to worry about bad special effects because they use CGI. Okay, so everything looks so perfect. Comics is not a medium where everything will be perfect, but I think a lot of reviewers, they're looking through the lens that they see modern movies and music by, where everything does have to be perfect throughout the whole fucking thing, otherwise it gets a bad review. And I kind of feel that's like really unfair on the medium.
I kind of know what you're saying there, although with modern stuff is more it's not so much perfect as it is anodyne and bland.
Oh yes,
because that's what the perfection that they're searching for gives them. You know,
absolutely.
So
Perfection is a fool's fucking errand, and a lot of reviewers out there don't seem to realize that. Like, you don't want it to be perfect. It's like I've said to people before, like especially when I talk about books like The Crow. To me, The Crow is the comic book version of a perfect diamond, because the one thing that makes a perfect diamond is that it has at least one flaw. If it doesn't have that flaw, it cannot be classified as a perfect diamond.
All right. But what can I say? I'm a perfect diamond, you know. A perfect diamond. I think we all know a perfect diamond is what Superman creates when he crushes a piece of coal in his hands.
Yeah.
That's a perfect diamond. Okay, so you're talking about the comic book of The Crow. See, I prefer the movie over the comic.
I'm kind of mixed, because like to me they're almost like two completely different stories, even though they're like cousins.
I mean, I never had it wasn't my kind of thing, that comic at the time, so it wasn't something that I kind of like it wasn't my zeitgeist then, you know. It wasn't something that I was into, so I can totally get why people love it. And I do like it. I think it's a good comic. And I'd recommend people to read it. I've read the original kind of like Crow storyline about 2 or 3 times, I think, all the way through. And I've dipped in every now and then just to have a wee look at it. But the movie, to me, is something that I suppose what you're talking about, the Perfect Diamond, because the movie is flawed. And it's flawed because of the loss of Brandon Lee. You know, that's what. So they had to kind of like make it work because of that. But in a tragic kind of way, it works more because of that. You know, which is a terrible thing, but it's true in a way, because that's the movie we've got, and the movie resonates because of the tragedy behind the movie. So that elevates that movie to art. If you want to talk about things as being high art and stuff, to me that kind of elevates it to a kind of higher echelon of art. You know?
Yeah, completely agree.
But at the same time, I don't believe in all that kind of crap, having different echelons of art. You know, but that's just me being postmodern and Michael Moorcockish. That's what I get for reading Jerry Cornelius. The whole idea of Jerry Cornelius, to just completely go off a tangent, was Michael Moorcock edited a magazine called, I think it was New Worlds, it was called. And he created the character, and the character was there free reign for anybody that wanted to write a story with him and use them in their stories for the magazine. Cool. It was a great idea, and so that people could use the story and incorporate them. But it was still Moorcock's character, you know, the copyright and everything was his thing. That's why the whole thing about what Grant Morrison did by taking the character and recreating him as somebody else, and the Invisibles. Did I call it the Invisibles before the Invincibles? Because I'm turning into an old man now, and I'm getting all my words mixed up.
No, you called it the Invisibles earlier as well.
I did, right? Because that's what happens. It's like I'll start talking about Grant Morrison's Incredibles in a minute, because that's the way my brain's working these days. It's just slightly askew. But yeah, so I like that idea. So I'm going to bring everything comes back to Tatty Bogleman. So when I did the Tales of Mystery with the Tatty Bogleman as the kind of the compere introduced to the stories, the Crypt Keeper, and I had other artists that were working on the stories. was their interpretation, and I was kind of looking forward to see what their interpretation was. It didn't bother me if it was completely different and askew from what mine was. So again, I think that was consciously I was thinking of Michael Moorcock with Jerry Cornelius, because that's how lofty I was when I was creating the Tatty Bogo Man. Yeah. What are we talking about again?
Awesome stuff.
Awesome stuff. Chat. Talking about things that are not polished, like movies or anything, is there anything out there that you guys kind of love that's not at all polished, or viewed today through today's lens, people would think, "What? Why do you love that?"
Yeah.
You know, if there is, well, let us know what it is, because as you know, we're doing an Albert Payun special on Thursday night. There's a lot of people that would scratch their head and go, "How can you love any of those movies that you're going to be kind of like ranking or talking about?" I kind of do, you know. I kind of do, and some of them are objectively not very good. I'm not going to say awful; they're just objectively not very good. But there's one of those movies called Nemesis that I just love. So we'll talk about it on Thursday night. And people watching it will be scratching their heads and going, "How can you love that?" Because it's kind of like a rip-off of Blade Runner and that kind of at the time. Why don't you love Blade Runner? And I'm like, yeah, I love Blade Runner, but I'll be honest with you, I love Nemesis more. Yeah. And it's because of the kind of like the poverty row effects and what they've had to work with or what they don't have to work with, that I think occasionally in a movie they kind of come together and just work. And so that's kind of like a movie that I keep going back to and have done since I saw it in VHS. And you could argue objectively as to whether it's a good movie or not just by nitpicking away things, but subjectively to me, it's probably the best B movie rip-off of Terminator / Cyborg / Blade Runner. So it's and a close second has just been mentioned by Pete in the chat. Yep.
Yes.
Jack Death is back, and he's never even been here before. Is that what the tagline was?
It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and dry hairs for squibs, I believe.
Phil,
good evening, Phil. Dog Soldiers awful. We're still love. Oh, you're going to start an argument there.
I love Dog Soldiers.
I got to share something again with you guys. Seeing Phil's popped in here. This doesn't really happen often, but this is kind of like. I mean, you can stuff your Snyderverse, right? Because.
Oh, we've lost Wullie. Oh dear. Do you know what that means? Guys? Oh, I have my guitar for such an occasion. I don't know where he's gone to. Last time this happened, I gave you guys the option. I strung one chord.
It didn't go. I don't know what happened that day. Hang on. Pretend I'm still not.
There you go. You got two chords now.
Right, that's enough.
The same chord.
You need to save this kind of cool stuff until I actually am kicked out. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, forget your Snyderverse and all that kind of stuff, because we now have two people that are in the Beanoverse. There you go. I believe, I'll be honest with you, Phil's far better looking than his Beanoverse version, I have to say that. But yeah, you've two living, breathing people who are in the Beanoverse. There you go. In the one chat. That kind of thing doesn't happen that often, and that means that there's some kind of thing in the air. Something's about to happen. It's like the multiverse. There's something happening in there.
Oh man, I'm jealous. I want to be in the Beano first.
I'm going to keep showing that now. Extra over all those Alien sequels any day to it. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm hoping that's when I just suddenly disappeared, or maybe was that when you picked up the guitar? I don't know.
I think the comment that comes after.
Oh, get the guitar. There we go. Quick, get another tape out. There we go. What Waits Below? Is that the Zemeckis one? What Waits Below?
I don't know. Are you thinking of What Lies Beneath?
Oh, that's I'm thinking. What's What Waits Below then? Yeah, Kev.
I'm not sure, but I want to find out.
Can you play Stairway?
Nothing, Adams. No.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was much better looking than that pic. I like to think it's maybe it's your Dark Mirror-verse Beano version of yourself. What is happening here?
I don't know, but I like the direction it's going.
So, yeah, Stairway. Can you play Stairway?
No, I've never actually learned Stairway to Heaven, so I wouldn't be able to play that one for you. But I'd see. I had this all planned out just in case you disappeared tonight, because I do know a couple of songs about Ed Gein, hence the Ed Gein T-shirt, and also because I'm working on a book called Ed Gein Demon Hunter, so it all ties in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because you'd mentioned that to me a wee while back. And you unveiled it to the world this very weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to be working with Christian Rossi, who's worked on books like Trespasser, Voidwalker, and Rad Rose, all from Alterna Comics. I can't remember where it is in the world that he comes from, but it's not here in England. But he's an absolutely great guy. And I commissioned him to do a Lady Satan print for the backers and everything, which he did. And man, did he work quick. Because he told me that he was booked up for commissions till the 26th of February. And then literally on the day of CromCon, the first day, the 27th, which both you and I were on that day, he messaged me and said, "Here's the pencils. What do you think?" And I was like, "I fucking love it. Keep going." 3 hours later, he's like, "Here's the inked version." I was like, "I fucking love it. Keep going." And then 3 hours after that, he was like, "And here's the finished piece." And I was like, "And here's your fucking money."
Yeah, that's far too quick to do stuff like that. Was that?
Yeah. So I was just like, "Dude, do you want to work on a one shot together?" Because I've asked so many like artists if they want to work on this one shot, as I was explained to you earlier, because I came up with the idea like during the pandemic last year, so about early summer. I came up with the idea and I started approaching artists, and one artist said that they couldn't because they were stuck with their own work for the next 2 or 3 years, which I was very like, "Hey dude, no fucking problem, I love what you do, keep going." The second artist that I approached, he was like, "I like the idea, but if I work on this, there's going to be backlash because it's an infamous serial killer who's the lead character, aka the hero. I don't want to be associated with that." And I was like, "Okay, fine. You do that." The third artist I approached, as I said to you earlier, was Tim Vigil from Faust, Love of the Damned. And he gave fair prices for the sort of work that he does, but they're not prices that I can afford. So
not for us poor wee Indiegogo starting it guys. No.
Yeah, exactly. Like I appreciated his bluntness in a way, because it wasn't kind of like, "Well, I don't know if I could or could." He was just straight up like, "This is how much it would cost, and it would cost you less if it was a private thing, but because it's something that's going to make money, I have to add more to that and stuff." And I was like, "No, what you're saying is completely fair and understandable. I just cannot afford that. Maybe one day in the future I can, and I would love to work with Tim Vigil, but it just wasn't going to happen for this project." And then after speaking to Christian, I was just like, "Yeah, me and him, we get on absolutely fine." And after the print, I said to him, like, "Here's your money. Here's a little extra because you've done such a good job. how much are your page rates? Because I would love to hire you for a one-shot called Ed Gein Demon Hunter. And he came back and said, Ed Gein, awesome. I love Ed Gein. I'm in.
I don't know if I'd want to employ somebody that says, awesome, I love Ed Gein, but I understand where he's coming from. I know what he means.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. And it's just going to be like a fun little comic book. It's going to be like, it will be dark like Lady Satan, but it's going to be a humorous story.
Yeah.
Yes, Pete, I agree. Tim would be great for a project like this one. But like I said, I'm not in a position where I can afford his page rates. If I was, I wouldn't have to think twice. And I'd be at the top of a mountain going, guess what? I'm fucking working with Tim Vigil.
Either way, you're living the dream now. You don't have to draw it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think...
Writing malarkey's easy. Like these writers that tell you it's hard. It's not.
With my characters, there's a few characters that I would happily let other artists work on, but there is like a small group of them that I'm like, no, I would never let another artist work on these. I've got to work on them, and Lady Satan is one of those. After I saw what Christian did with Lady Satan, there was that part of me that went, why didn't I hire him to draw the fucking book? I think he's the only artist I've seen that I was like, if I was going to let someone else draw Lady Satan, him, hands fucking down.
Well, that's cool. That's the multiverse and everything's converging now because because me and Phil are in the Beanoverse. That's what started it all. So everything works. But I'm going to go back here because I've discovered something. Because Robert Powell, indeed. COVID Kev. What waits below? Robert Powell finding a race of albinos living underground that go on a killing spree. Exactly, Adams. That was exactly what I thought.
I need this in my life yesterday.
And it gets even better because I quickly checked it. It's directed by Don Sharp. I'm like, so how did I miss a movie directed by... he has made hundreds of movies. But the guy that made Kiss of the Vampire. So it's like... I'm like... Yeah. So as Pete says, it's a lot of copies probably going to get shifted on eBay.
Yeah.
I was like... Yeah. So 1984, that's probably why. I probably never got it probably was a straight to video over here and got lost. Yeah. But yeah, that's going right to the top of my watch list. I'm going to be getting myself a copy of that. Robert
Powell was enough to sell me on it. And then you added the underground race of albinos going on a killing spree.
Did Don Sharp not make the 39 Steps remake? Or have I got...
I'm not sure.
I should click on his filmography. I know he made Face of Fu Manchu. I'm clicking on the film now to get his filmography. Well, he was an actor as well, Don Sharp. There you go. He made... Yep, The Four Feathers and the 39 Steps around about that time. 39 Steps. He also made Bear Island, which just didn't work. That wasn't a really good film. But yeah. Face of Fu Manchu, Brides of Fu Manchu are well worth a watch. Okay, I made Callan the film version of that too. Okay, brilliant. Thanks for that, Kev. I'm going to be checking that one out.
You definitely. Are a legend, Kev.
And it's indeed what is an albino. Yes, thanks for jumping in. Albino. Albinos get a really kind of like bad rap in movies, don't they? They're usually killers or something.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. Shocking. Racist. No, silence my accent. I try to think of a film that's got a positive portrayal of an albino. They're usually always hitmen and killers and stuff like that, and psychopaths.
Or
anybody in the
zealots.
chat, a positive portrayal of an albino in movies, if you can think of one.
Help us out here.
Yeah. Oh, there was an albino. Was he in? Never want to powder. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We don't want to go there, do we?
Oh, you might not, but
I remember that being an alright movie. That was an alright movie. That was what's his name, young Indiana Jones guy, wasn't it? There was something that.
I've never seen it. I've only ever seen the trailer, and I kept thinking I really need to see this movie. And I've got it on DVD. I've had it on DVD for about 10 years, and I still haven't got round to fucking watching it.
Right, I'm on. Here we go. Powder. Yeah, Sean Patrick Flannery. He was the guy that was in the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. Yeah, but it's no one you want to revisit because it's Victor Salva that directed it. Yeah.
It was the first movie he made after coming out of prison.
Yeah,
because as the story goes, apparently he was coming up to his release date and he was really fucking terrified of coming out of prison because he thought like there would be hitmen everywhere, that he would never be able to work on a movie again. And apparently the day he came out, there was a Disney executive waiting for him at the gates of the fucking prison to approach him about making a movie, and that turned into Powder.
Yeah. Disney. What can you say? So yeah, if you don't know anything about Victor Salva, you can check up yourself. But that's the main reason why I've never watched any of the Jeepers Creepers movies.
I watched the first one before I even knew who the fuck he was or anything about the Clown House incident and stuff. And I still love that first movie. I quite like the second one. The third one that he made, I think he made it in 2016 or something. I remember loads of people were like, oh, how can this be made and stuff? And it was mostly people who'd only just heard about what he had done. Most of them didn't give a shit before that. So they were just trying to do the, look at me, I'm a good Samaritan. It's like, oh, fuck off. Kind of thing. But I remember sitting down to try and watch it, and I got about 10 minutes in and I was like, no, just can't fucking do this. This is such a department. Department? That's not the right word.
That's the word.
Departure, that's the one. See, it's catching.
It's catching. It's catching. That's mad.
But yeah, I was just like, no, this just isn't fucking working for me. I'll still watch Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2. I'm one of those people. I do believe in separating the art from the artist. I appreciate it is difficult with someone like Victor Salva, though.
Yeah, I believe in that as well. But I like them to be dead for a few decades before I can do it. So hopefully I'll outlive them and then I can watch Jeepers Creepers. That would be a terrible thing to say, but not about him. So, what's that there? Here we go. Dar Robinson. Yeah, actually, he might be the reason why there's so many albino baddies. Never thought about that. Yeah, see, I even have trouble now going back and watching Polanski's movies, because I never really paid attention when I was younger. But then you you read up about the whole thing, you kind of go, what a creep. Yeah, but
exactly. The same people that go out there and be like, how can you let Victor Salva make another movie and all that? They're the same people that are like, oh, we should give Polanski a break though. And it comes back to that Jim Jeffries joke of how famous and how talented you have to be before you can get away with that awful kind of stuff. Because they're like, I think it was like when he started doing the Comedy Central stuff, he repeated that joke because that used to be one of his jokes in his stand-up. But when he did it for Comedy Central, he actually had a fucking chart where he was like, okay, here's the axis of talent, and here are all the famous people that have done similar things, and some of them are below that axis, some of them are above it. Why? Why does this work this way?
Yeah, there's a number of reasons, but yeah. Never watched Venture Brothers.
No, neither have I.
Yeah, but good albino. Okay, right. We could do this if we don't watch it on. So we can't do it the way we did it with Stato and me with Dracula and Istanbul.
Yeah, which is a shame.
Which is fun because you get to see all the you get to see all the dancing ladies and everything, and hit it with a shovel. But the only way we could do it is we'll have it set up to watch at home, and then we hit play at the same time, so we're not actually putting it on screen, and we watch it together. But I don't like that. I don't like watching those streams, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I did that with Russ and Stinch Whackbacker for the 1982 Wes Craven Swamp
Sorry, who
thing.
did you do it with?
Russ and Stinch Whackbacker. He goes by a different name now.
I was wondering, is that his real name or his stage name?
Oh no, that was definitely stage name. But yeah, we did it with the 1982 Swamp Thing, and like it was a great experience. But then like I started watching the stream back, and I was like, this must have been one of the most boring things for the audience because they can't see the movie that we're watching. Yeah. And if they have a different cut of the movie, or like we're watching a PAL version, they're watching an NTSC version, it's just not going to fucking line up. It's so much better when you can actually have the movie playing on screen with the people who are watching it.
Yep. But I mean, you don't have me spending 20 minutes apologising to Stato for watching a movie. I believe I got kicked out of that stream as well, didn't I?
It's a shame that we couldn't have done that Turkish Exorcist rip-off because of their use of
music in there.
Yeah,
Tubular Bells from start to finish.
But it is such a funny fucking movie to watch.
It could. We could do it, but not have the sound off.
Yeah, but that kind of takes away from it.
I know it does take away from it. Yeah.
I think we could probably get away with doing it to Roger Corman's Fantastic Four because I know that's on YouTube. Don't do image search. It's not worth it, Pete.
No, don't do it. For the love of God, do it. Could we do that one?
Yeah, because there's no official release. There's no one that actually owns, as far as I know, no one actually owns the rights to that movie.
Yeah.
And like I said, there is a copy of it on YouTube. Someone's uploaded it up there, and I don't think they've got any copyright strikes from it.
Yeah. Okay, we could do that. Okay, we could give that one a go, I suppose. Yeah, that'd be an interesting one. Plus,
there's loads of like old trashy exploitation movies that people have uploaded direct to YouTube, and they're not having any problems with it. Like The Amazing Mr. No Legs is one that I mentioned to you before. That's a great one to do a watch along to.
Amazing Mr. No Legs.
Yeah. It's also known as Gunslinger, I think. Or just Mr. No Legs. And that's a great fucking movie because it's so bad.
Okay. We'll do that. See, I do argue that Dracula in Istanbul isn't that bad for a Turkish movie.
For a Turkish movie.
Yeah, at least the first half of it isn't that bad for a Turkish movie.
There's two different Turkish rip-offs of E.T. One's called Bardi and the other one's called Hamoti. And I think Bardi is up on YouTube. The only problem is there's no English subtitles.
But there's one of them that looks like it's just some guy with a camcorder.
Yes.
And somebody dressed in a camel coat or something playing E.T.
It
would only be me that ends up in prison. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. We'll think about. This is going to be something for the summer. We're just not going to have the time to set it up because I need to get all the adverts and everything go before it as well. Because
yeah. Oh yeah. Plus, like with Ilsa Dark, you've got so much work to do with that, and like what you're doing with Charlie's, and I've got so much to do with fucking Lady Satan. Like
I rewrote the last act. Ilsa Dark. It takes part in a blackout now. So
why did I not think of this?
She made the last dozen or so pages a lot easier to draw.
16 panel grids, each panel black as fuck. E.T. Nasty, remember the VHS back in the day, but never saw the film. I think I know the one you're referring to. That's definitely one we won't be doing a watch along to.
No, it's Pete Googling it. Let's see. Oh my god. Don't Google it.
And don't share the screen.
I'm just getting lots of rap acts. Must be the word nasty. There's a lot of rappers out there, the word nasty in their name.
Big Nasty, Little Nasty.
Yeah. Talking about rappers on Thursday night because there's a few of them in Albert Pyun's more recent efforts. Have you been watching any Pyun over the last few weeks?
I've so wanted to, and I just haven't had the fucking opportunity to.
Right,
It's literally been wake up, get to work, do a stream, do some more work, pass out, wake up, and then just carry on the same.
I've been putting Tubi on while I've been working, so it's been playing with the movies playing on Tubi as I've been working.
I would love to do that.
So what we're going to do is, guys, turn up or it's not going to work, because we're not doing the normal sort of like at the movies where we go through all the screens and talk about 10 down to 1 and number 1 pop pickers. We're not doing that. We're stolen the idea from Commie Mark and what he does when he's ranking stuff. So we're just going to like pull the movies in and we're going to kind of like rank them from good to not so good. And I've got a funny feeling that most of them are going to be on the bottom tier, which is has anybody other than Wullie seen this movie? So we do have that tier to put things in when people are like, what? I didn't even know this existed. Because I did share the trailer for the sequel to Streets of Fire with Pete on Twitter last week. Because he was thinking of maybe purchasing the movie, and I thought I probably should watch the trailer first. But I don't know. Pete, let me know. I don't know what effect that has, because I watched the trailer and then I watched it again, and it kind of made me want to purchase the movie. That's kind of like it's kind of the way I am with Albert Pyun movies.
I love Dollman.
Tell you what I did. I watched Dollman with Elvira the other night, because Tubi's got the Elvira doing her wee bits through the movies, versions of them as well. So I thought I'll watch that because I've got somebody in my comic book called Ilsa Dark who's supposed to do that kind of stuff. So I might as well watch one. So I watched that one because I've seen it that many times. Yeah, research. But I prefer watching them without the Elvira bits interspace sort of thing.
Yeah, I would put the stuff on like whilst I'm working, because I'm working mostly digitally. I've got my work here, but my TV is there. So I would not be able to watch it properly, and I'd walk away going, I've just missed the whole fucking thing. Either that or I just wouldn't get any of the work done.
Yeah, I know. I'm working here, so just at my site there, I've got my Mac, so I've got Tubi on there, and I've got my special specs, my bifocal specs, one for watching the Mac and one for drawing. Sorted. So I could just be, hence why I'm on a diet. I could just be sort of sloth-like, sort of sitting here, working away.
If I had the room to like move my desk around so that like I could keep the TV there, but move my desk around so that I could just look up and see it again, then I would do that. But I just don't have the room.
Yeah, No, me neither. This is pretty much all the space I've got for working in right now. But once we're out of the lockdown in 2024, I'll be sorted.
Which is going to happen first? Like the lockdown ends, or James Cameron releases Avatar 2?
Is that ever getting released?
Apparently, it's already started shooting.
I don't know. Does anybody care?
I don't care. But
No.
James Cameron does, so, you know, and the actors who he's paying definitely care.
Yeah. 3D was great in Avatar. Really good 3D in it. So I quite enjoyed it for that, because you know me, I'm a sucker for 3D. Yeah. So Dollman versus, that wasn't a Payan. Who was that?
That was someone else. Can't remember who.
Charles Band did it himself. Directed that one. Okay. Interesting. I've not seen that one either. I've got to admit, that's one I've not seen. Need to rectify that. Tim Thomerson and Tracy Scoggins. Why have I not seen it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, and I need to change that as soon as possible. But I love Dollman, so every time I think about it, I'm like, I could just watch Dollman instead.
I love going on to, like, if you look at a film, don't bother going to IMDb, just go to the Wikipedia, because you can always go to, they've got reception, and they've got
Yes.
quotes from people at the time, and it's like critical reception has been negative. You know, do you think? It's like, just shut up.
No shit, Sherlock. Of course it was negative.
I feel I should come in and edit this and put in a brilliant review, make up a review that was never actually written, and just put it in there.
All of a sudden, everyone review bombs like Rotten Tomatoes just for like Dollman versus Demonic Toys, saying like it's better than Lawrence of Arabia.
I know. It's not though. Just 30-minute bursts. Yeah, I haven't watched the whole film through. I think I've only watched it all the way through once. But yeah, I like to occasionally just like pop it in and watch like a segment now and then, especially in 3D, because it's just so nice. And I've got 2 cuts as well. I've got the director's cut. I don't think I've ever watched the original cut.
I want us to go back to Anaglyph 3D, like with your comics, where we have to wear the red and blue specs or the purple and green ones. That's the 3D I want to go back to.
I like that, but I prefer the new stuff. I've got to admit, for the movies. I do like it. Yeah, gets back on track, Pete. Thanks for that. Galaxy of Terror, terrific. Yeah, cheap and nasty. A lot more fun than Avatar, and only about 90 odd minutes, which is like a sweet spot for these kind of movies.
Yes, yes.
Piranha 2, cheap, yeah, but it's proper James Cameron movie, that, isn't it? Did you not have to sneak in to re-edit that or something? Was that the one you did that with?
I think so, but don't hold me to that. I have heard stories about him doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, like Piranha 2, you know.
Because that was like one of his first movies, wasn't it? Like he did a short 20-minute movie called Xenogenesis, I think it was called. And it was pretty cool. And then he did Piranha 2 and fucked up on that really badly. He had to work as an assistant on some other movies. And he asked, I think it was the producer of a movie that he was assisting on. He said, look, I've got this script. I want to make this movie. Please let me do it. And, you know, give me some money for it or whatever. And they were like, no, we saw like the shit that you did with Piranha 2. There's no way we're hiring you. And he was like, what if you hire me for $1? Just a single dollar. Will you let me do it then? And they're like, well, for $1, we can't really lose too much money, can we? And that movie was Terminator.
Ah, the good old days. That's right. That's how things were planned out in the good old days. I was say hi to Mike. I'm just going to go.
Mike.
I'm just going to go with Mike, who I met in the chat at CromCon, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I remembered something that happened this week. That's a plus.
What did you think of CromCon? Because I watched your segment as it was live, and I think Pops likes you.
Do you think so? Ah,
yes.
Cool. That's good. It was hard to tell because it was by because I was watching the clock because I'm like, I'm going to get Tales of Mystery in here. Boom. Yeah. Towards the very end, but yeah, I think it went okay. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah. I'd have liked to, but to the time difference, I'd like to have hung about for the later slots as well, and join people in the chat. And then Sunday, I was just so much work to do, prepping for college that I couldn't really jump into any of them on Sunday either. So I'd have liked to have jumped in at the end to see what everybody was talking about in the late night stuff too, but just couldn't. But yeah, so no, I watched your segment after I hung about until you'd been on, and then kind of like that was about 2 o'clock in the morning once you were finished, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, around that time. So like literally after that finished, I was like, okay, I'm going to sleep now. And then the whole of Sunday, I was like, all I can do is just sleep more because I was just so fucking shattered from like the amount of streams and work that I've done throughout the week. But it's always a great experience being on Pop's channel, especially for stuff like CromCon. Just like so many cool people turn up for that show.
Cool. And all right, cool. So you
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a good number to be bumped up to.
Hell yeah, man.
Jump
awesome.
Over if that's on your channel, jump over and have a look. Yeah. Give Mike a wee sub if you don't mind, guys.
Yeah, definitely. And check out his book, Life on Quora.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody recommend Piranha 3DD? Pete, I'm looking at you.
Yes, Pete, you are our mentor for this one.
Yeah, it would be. We'll do a 3Ds. Maybe just do that. We could split that. We could do we could do 3 3D specials. Oh, you can hear the cogs in my head. We could do 4 3D specials. 4D. Here's what we do. We do 3D comics. So me and Stato will do like a 3D comics for Comic Gold. We do 3D horror for the horror show. We do. I've forgotten what the other 2 are now. That's just the way my mind works. Just generic 3D movies. So we do like westerns and stuff like that for the movies.
Yeah.
And then I totally forgotten what the 4th one was. I just thought about because that's just the way I am.
Your 3D comics.
My feet, the type logo, man. That's it. That was the 4th one. But no, we could probably eke out, I would say 4 specials just on 3D.
Yeah.
So we something like the top 5, maybe like 3D movies that aren't horror sort of thing. Then we do like a horror special, and then we do like a comic special. So we can definitely get 3. And then this is what I was really thinking. The 4th one, but then we just do just whatever comes into our mind on Team Dark. So we're doing that right now.
Yeah, this is the 4th special.
So this is the 4th special. We're working backwards from that. Okay, so Pete was disappointed. But yeah, Adams would recommend it. That's great fun. Ooh. Could that be because the 3D adds that extra dimension that kind of makes it work? No, don't apologize. Own your hatred. That's what I say. Because just think about me and Skyfall, and own your hatred of it. But I think it could be a case of like because the 3D can make a bad movie seem fun if the 3D is like clever enough and they put enough interest into that. Yeah, I definitely. Even, I mean, the first Piranha 3D works quite well as a remake of Piranha, and it's okay. But as a 3D movie, it's so much better because of that. It just works because of that. So I've stayed away from 3DD, but I might have to get it now. I could probably get it for a couple of quid on Blu-ray, to be honest.
Yeah, more than likely. I don't see it going for stupid money.
Mm. Yep, every part should be in 3D. I totally agree.
Yeah, I do. What? James Franco, aka Jesus Franco? How could you be? Sorry, I'm only teasing.
Yeah, isn't it? It's a bit pants in 3D, but I like it because even in it's quite enjoyable in 3D. Yeah, that's the what's his face, the Rock, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Forgot about those. Yeah. it would have improved it, I have to say. That would have been fantastic.
Can you imagine Lethal Weapon 3 in 3D?
Yeah, I can do it with my telly because it's got that function where you can turn a 2D movie into 3D.
Ooh.
Right. So you don't want to do it though because it's doing it on the fly, right? So you turn it on the first time, so you could be watching, I don't know, you could put on Coronation Street, right, in high def, and then you could watch it in 3D. But when it does things like it will like separate the nose from the face, so it comes right out or whatever, because it's not having to work it out. It's not all kind of worked out. But sometimes it works quite well. If you can make it in subtle, you can check things. So you could actually watch Lethal Weapon 3D.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
3D amigos. Yeah, I gave that one a miss because I don't know. I don't know if
I wouldn't want to watch Predator in 3D. I just love it the way it is.
I don't know. I mean, I might if it's on sale, I might. But some of the older ones that have been turned into 3D. Here's kind of like I mentioned this before. I watched Prometheus in 3D, and it was two things Prometheus had going for it.
Yeah.
You had good 3D for the most part, right, but not good enough to make the movie good. Because the movie was so far up itself, there was just no way it was going to be made good. You may disagree.
No, I do agree completely.
But it had good 3D for the most part, and it had a clip from Lawrence of Arabia, which hadn't been released in high def at that point, and it looked amazing. And I remember watching it and going, "My God, I would love to be watching Lawrence of Arabia right now in high def or something," just because it looks so good in the movie. It's pretty bad when it's the start of a movie and they've got a clip from another movie and you'd rather be watching that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely get it. Like, I know you haven't been watching WandaVision, but I have, and it's 8 episodes.
I have. I'm up to episode 7.
Oh, right. I'm up to episode 8.
I've been watching it on Disney, so I have.
Yes. And every episode, I get about 2 minutes into it and I just start thinking, man, Twin Peaks was great. I should really be watching Twin Peaks.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, I've not watched the most recent one. I'm saving up the last couple to have a marathon.
Right, fair enough.
So enough. I don't know. I might have it. I'd save them up for Halloween, maybe. I think.
I think the show might work better if they had just released all the episodes at the same time, but I really doubt that somehow. It just feels like a 2-hour movie that they've gone, okay, stretch.
Yeah. Not enough gore.
No. Not enough gore, not enough 3D. There's no boobs, there's no monster trucks or chainsaws. It's not ticking any of my boxes.
It's I know the Steve Englehart Maxi series that is based on, a 12-issue series that he wrote, which was like a spin-off from the West Coast Avengers, which was a great comic back in the day.
Yes.
So I loved all that stuff. So I kind of I can get what they're doing, and I'm not hating it. There's bits of it that I've enjoyed.
Oh yeah, there are bits of it that I'm like, okay, that's cool, but there's so few and far of those moments, you know.
Yeah, it's just so long. It's so drawn out.
Yeah, and a lot of the twists that they reveal, it's like I saw that coming a mile away. Like I don't even consider it a twist, but you're presenting it as if it's a
because they're getting so low, they're taking so long to get there, and they need to have the ends of episodes and stuff like that, and so it's like it's a big thing, and you're like, not really.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the Truman Show, because it reminded me of the Truman Show.
Yeah.
And I always thought that the Truman Show really got interesting just before the end titles came up. Because I think it's the same problem that you have with One Division. I know Stato is enjoying it more. He likes what they're doing with the old kind of like TV sitcoms. I kind of like that too. I quite like the way they're doing that. They're quite clever with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I always thought it's like you want to get what happens after all of this, because this is surely going to be a catalyst for a big change in some way. So the story, so in other words, the Truman Show doesn't have, it's lost its third act. The third act happens after the end titles. That's what I want to see, that third act that it doesn't have. The reason it doesn't have it is because it's too complex for them to actually write and make work. So that it's laziness on the writer's part. So it's kind of like making Brave New World and not doing the last chapter. You know, because it's a lot easier to not actually show you how everything pans out in this book, you know, that kind of thing. So that's the problem I think I'm going to have when I get to the end of this. I think it's going to leave me thinking, okay, you've just not had the third act.
I feel like there's a lot of act two, more act two, another act two, and then what act three? There's no act three. What I really want to do is I want them to release the final episode, and then when I have time and I don't have a heavy work schedule, I would love to sit down and just have an editorial eye, get all of the episodes together and go, that doesn't need to be there, take it out. That would be better if it's worked around there. And I'm willing to bet that if I spent the time and did that, it could be cut down to 1 hour and 45 minutes at the shortest. And I reckon it would be a much better experience.
I believe everything can be cut down to 93 minutes.
Oh, yes. Now, that's a fucking sweet time. It's even better when you get to 83 minutes. I find that works really well.
What's great about 83 and 93 minutes is you can get double bills in quite easily.
Yeah.
I love a double bill. What can I say?
Yes.
So I'm having a wee look here at what we've got going on in here in the chat. Yep. Oh, right. Does that work? Is that a good one? Should I grab a copy of that? Is what I'm asking. And yeah, it's still one of my favourite 3D movies. Is Friday the 13th 3D.
Yes.
Objectively, it's not the best of the Friday the 13th movies. It's better than a lot of them, mind you. But the 3D just makes the movie. Drift. Right. I missed heading in here.
I did like a suggestion for a 3D movie earlier that someone made of 3D Men and a Little Baby.
Yeah, I thought. That was Peeps. He was going through the wall. Brilliant. still think the Godfather 3D. That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah. So 3D. So that's us then. Done it.
Yeah.
Just got the other 3 to do now. We're sorted.
Yeah.
This is the way Team Dark rolls. Planning.
Oh yeah.
What's that?
What the fuck is planning?
I forgot. I always forget he's in it. But in Dullman, what's his name's in it? Rorschach.
Yeah, Jackie Earle Haley.
That's the one. I always get him mixed up with the wee kid in the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, don't ask me his name. I can't remember.
No, it's the same name as him. I'm pretty sure they're both the same name. I'm gonna have to look up now. It'll be nothing like it.
And he's the kid from Sixth Sense. He's been in loads of stuff since. He was in that Kevin Smith film, Tusk.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that.
Oh, I love that movie.
Do you?
Yes.
Is it good? Is it worth watching?
You know what?
Bearing in mind, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Smith. I think I liked Red State was the only one of his movies that I kind of liked. I quite liked Red State, but
love Red State. There's a couple of moments in Tusk.
Hallie Joel Osment.
There you go.
And the other guy is called
Jackie Earle Haley.
There you go, same guy. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
Close enough. Close enough.
They're related. They must be. I think with Tusk,
Osmond or something. That's another guy entirely. Yeah.
you might not like a couple of parts of Tusk because there are a couple of parts of Tusk that feel very Kevin Smith,
right.
But the majority of the film doesn't. If that makes sense, like it does feel like he has matured a hell of a lot when it comes to that movie. But then again, I think I'm an outsider with that movie because most people I meet who have seen it, they're like, "Oh man, that movie sucks." But to me, I think it's a million times better than The Human Centipede is.
Sorry.
Peep is on a fucking roll tonight. Yes. I like this.
That's brilliant. And again, that's the remake we would have loved to see.
Oh God, yes.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, okay. I mean, I'll see if I can give that a go. I mean, I don't completely dislike Kevin Smith. I've just grown to. Never really loved his movies. That's it. I've kind of like never
That's
really.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah, I never really liked him that much. Poor man's Woody Allen in some respects. Tries to be a blue collar Woody Allen, but it doesn't work for me. You know,
I can understand where you're coming from.
Do you get where I'm coming at with that? Yeah, I think that's with his first few movies anyway. Yeah. And he never understood what an inker was in a comic, and why they're important. That's enough for me to just not give him the time of day. So
yeah, no, I can get that. I'm not the hugest fan of his comic work. I loved what he did with Daredevil in Guardian Devil. I thought that was a really good comic, but it is one of those ones that like you read once and you're like, oh, this is great, and then you read it again, you're like, I'm starting to see like the holes and the problems here. Like it's read it once, don't read it again kind of thing. Just look at the artwork instead. Yeah,
it's the artwork's what makes it. I'm not a big fan of his comics at all, any of them.
I didn't like what he did with Batman in Cacophony and Widening Gaia. Like I know people who love those storylines. I didn't. Yeah,
those people were called psychopaths. Yeah. I believe that's their name. Yeah. Just go with that.
Yes. Yeah.
The only thing we can say about Clerks is it has given us a killer clown movie. That I'm guessing.
Vulgar.
Vulgar. Yes, Danto. Yeah, it's going great. I think we've probably got about another like 10, 15 minutes in us before I fall asleep. But yeah, we're doing great. We've covered all kinds of things: zombie flesh eaters,
the 4 3D specials.
4 3D specials. And now we're talking about how I don't really like Kevin Smith films. God, I say that out loud. You get banned for YouTube or something for saying that out loud.
It's weird. Like I like the first 4, maybe 5 of his movies, and then there's a period of movies that he did after that I'm like, no. And then Red State dropped, and I was like, oh yes, I want more of this. Then he did Tusk, and I was like, keep going in this direction because it's not perfect yet, but I see really good things. If you keep going in this direction, you will be phenomenal. And what did he do? He did Yoga Hosers, and I was like, no, I'm out. Fuck you.
I was kind of out. I mean, Red State, I think I enjoyed it more than I would have normally because it wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, Pops.
Hey, Pops. How the devil art thou, good sir? We just got Rich head buzzed. It was glorious.
Yeah, we heard that.
Has anyone seen Steve? No, I last time I heard he was going for a beer with Pascal. I think so.
Yeah, I'll wager he was.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to check out.
We're so highbrow here.
I'm gonna have to check out what Rich's head looks like now. I'll have to get him on the show just to be like, I want to see your head.
We're just okay. Peeps is defend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on Smodcast. It did used to be good 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years ago. Yeah.
Like I still listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave. I think that podcast is fucking great. But that's Brian Johnson, Walt Flanagan, and Q from Impractical Jokers. So Smith is kind of like hands off on that one, and it's really good.
Yep. I started watching the one when he did that kind of like I don't know, Fat Man or whatever it was. But
Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah, I couldn't go. It's just two guys talking shit on the internet. Yeah. Who wants to watch that?
Not me. Not unless one of them has a sock puppet.
Exactly. Yeah, or a drink problem.
Or both.
Yeah.
Oh, a drink problem and a sock puppet.
Yeah, my drink problem is I'm just drinking water. That's my problem. Where is Jeremy these days anyway? Has he been found yet?
He's been spotted in a few places, and I think he's going to return at some point. He's on the run from the police for some reason. I'm not sure why. He said something about a priest in a fireman's outfit, and that was all I needed to know.
That's enough.
Exactly.
Drift Limited, thanks for dropping by. Please don't be a stranger and come and join us.
You take care now.
Priests are dodgy, though. You know, that's just putting that one out there. It's controversial, you know. But
I do know a song about a dodgy priest, but I may save that for a different time.
Save that for when I disappear and you get your guitar. It's a treat for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. The kind of music you can expect from me involves love songs by serial killers.
Love songs by serial killers. Oh, that's a trailer that makes itself, isn't it? That?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, right. I don't know. I think I'm getting close to calling it a night here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless we can think of anything. Is there anything in the chat? Is there anybody get any? Actually, I'll tell you what I don't like about Kevin Smith. Might as well. Let's go. Let's see him here. I don't like geeks. Right. So.
Right.
I don't like the whole geek culture thing where you say you identify as a geek and a nerd. And it's been like that now for about a decade or more, where people are like, I am a nerd, I'm a geek, and this and that. Stop it. Right. Yeah. Cast your mind back to well, maybe not because some of them are that young, but you cast your mind back to when if you weren't just a football fan or a sports fan, you could get picked on or whatever, you know, unless you had a special skill like drawing or being funny or something like that, you know, to keep you going. So cast your mind back to that. Geeks and nerds and that was all derogatory stuff, and this whole idea that this is something that we've taken, and it's like hey, we geek, all this kind of stuff. It has always annoyed me. So even when I'm saying we're going to do geek stuff on the show, whatever, I hate having to say that, because football fans, tennis fans, rugby fans are fans. And that's what we used to be. We used to just be comic book fans. We used to be film fans. We used to be genre fans, exploitation fans, right? Yeah. None of this geek crap and nerd crap.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't like Kevin Smith, because he popularized that whole kind of idea of what it means to be a geek. And what it really means is it's got, on its underbelly, it's got a certain snarky quality about it.
Yeah.
That has slowly bled into the whole culture of fandom, and it permeates it today, and it sets off a stench that my nose doesn't like. So that's why I don't like Kevin Smith.
I can get behind that big time. Absolutely, because like when I was a kid at school, I was the kid that was always picked on, always bullied, because I didn't like football, I didn't like sports, I liked comic books, heavy metal music, and horror movies, and skateboarding, and I was seen as weird. To be fair, I'm still seen as weird, and that's okay.
You're definitely weird.
Yeah, I'm keeping true to that, you know. But, you know, I remember being a kid and, like, going out one weekend with a couple of friends, and, like, you know, some of the kids from school saw us, you know, the jock type, shall we say.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to fucking kick your ass because you listen to heavy metal and shit like that. And I remember thinking at the time, man, I wish there was one heavy metal song that was like so popular, even these people appreciate it, so like I didn't get the fucking brunt of their stupidity. And that happened. It was one of those moments where I realized, careful what you wish for, because that's when Limp Bizkit fucking dropped Take a Look Around for Mission Impossible 2, and all of a sudden everyone fucking loved Limp Bizkit and everyone liked heavy metal and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is actually hell. This is literal. I preferred being beaten up for listening to heavy metal music,
but I mean,
having everyone fucking like it. I mean, because all of a sudden your identity is gone completely. And these same assholes, right? They're now people out there who are arguing about which is better, DC or Marvel.
Yeah,
and it's like, for fuck's sake,
totally.
These people used to like come up to people like myself and be like, man, comics are for kids, whilst wearing a Superman t-shirt and talking about how great the last Batman movie was. And it's really tainted so much stuff. It reminds me of that line from The Incredibles where Dash says something to Elastigirl and she's like, oh, we're all special. And he says, if we're all special, then nobody's special. And there's a lot of truth to that statement. You know, like I said, when all of a sudden everyone loves the stuff that you love because it's so popular and mainstream, it takes away your identity. It takes away one of the things that makes you an individual and special.
Okay, but that's not really what I'm getting at, though. Okay, because it's like Peep says here, people who took, that's one thing, but that's not really what I'm getting at. I don't say hi there. To Silver Ogre.
Hey, Silver.
I'm a comic book hooligan, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I'm 3D fans of the weird stuff. What I'm getting at here is like this adoption of something that kind of separates you from all other fandoms.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting at here.
Right.
And what it does is it, because you don't get this kind of, okay, like if we're in the pub and we're starting to have a chat about football and arguing about football, it could get this close to being a fist fight, but we'd meet up the next week in the same pub and have the same argument again and again and again and thoroughly enjoy it. And I get a sense of the whole kind of like geekdom and nerddom has been driven by commerce and people like Kevin Smith
Right,
It's been driven by them as a kind of way to sell us shite. And that's what we're doing now. We're just buying shite left, right, and centre.
Right, gotcha.
We're watching shite telly, watching shite movies, and buying shite comics. Because that's what's been pushed at us by geek culture. Whereas fandom, what it used to be about was searching out the kind of stuff you were talking about earlier on, with that comic book that wasn't The Crow. But even finding things like The Crow and stuff like that, there's no place for that now in geekdom and in fandom, because it's become geekdom. And that's kind of what I'm getting at with that.
Right, I get what you mean now.
Okay,
and
so
I still agree.
Yeah,
I still agree 100%.
So yeah, I know, because I started, because I'm agreeing with you as well on your bit. But what I'm kind of getting at there is like it's become something different now, and it's driven by people that like Kevin Smith, kind of like the gods of geekdom and nerddom and all that crap.
Yeah. I get what you mean, definitely. And it has produced unfortunately, a lot of shite, for want of a better phrasing. I think that's part of the reason why so many people, especially myself, are very nostalgic nowadays, and we keep going back to the older entertainment.
Yep. Yes, Stato, if you're free, dive in for 10 minutes or so, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting all negative here. You know me, I'm always positive, but there's certain things that set me off. Skyfall sets me off when people say that's the best Bond film. Shut it. It's not the best Bond. It's not even a Bond film. I'm going to cover that in an entire series of shows. And another thing is it's been called a geek and stuff like that. You know, it's like and then just accepting it. And then the whole kind of geek culture kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It just sets me off. Now, you know, guys, that kind of stuff sets me off. Fighting talk. Get on the fighting side of me, as Mel Haggard would say. Exactly. It's like, it's urban music section. What the hell is that? It's like urban music. There's so many different genres in there, but the marketing men, that's another thing. Marketing men.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Just don't get me started on marketing people. It's like they ruin everything. Everything. Right. And on that positive note, hi, Stato.
Well, I heard you were having a hard time, so I came to explain the building blocks of life. First of all, when talking about the geek, you need to understand that they only have... I can't even keep this up.
I thought you were going to do it. I thought we were going to have like a wee kind of like animation to go with us.
No, this is the fastest avatar I've ever made.
Okay. We all need to be facing this way now, don't we?
We all need to do this. So,
well, that's just awkward.
I can do stuff like I can do this now.
Ooh. Whoa!
Whoa!
I still haven't figured out how to do that stuff.
Whoa! You just click on your mouse and move it. It's dead easy.
Figure out which one the queen is under, kind of thing. Like we're just gonna shuffle it around and like, no, sir, not this one. Try again.
Yep. I mentioned Skyfall. Look what happens. I mentioned Skyfall and look what happens. You see, I would go from Russia with Love and on a Majesty's Secret Service, but yeah, that's a whole other show.
Well, we knew it would be Majesty's Secret Service for you. Come on.
I'm getting scared now. Screen grabbed.
Like a
Genesis 5. Yeah.
So what's going on? Are we getting late and angry? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Just decided
I went off him one there. I didn't really go off him, but it just the whole. Yeah, I think I've mentioned it before. This whole kind of geek thing just always pissed me off.
I turned that thing on. I was like, geeks. I hate them.
No, that's not what I said. I hate. Yeah, I didn't say I hated anybody apart from.
What do they call it? Geek chic.
Geek
chic. Where it's like it's real.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind fake geeks because they're just rolling. They're just riding the wave and trying to make something out of it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, I've never watched an episode of Doctor Who in my life. I just pretend.
I've seen clips. Well, I'm not. I mean, I don't need to get credit in that department.
No, it's kind of like, God, stop.
Oh yeah, Dick Van Dyke. He was the best Bond.
Well, Goldfinger was in it, and it was Richard Maybaum wrote it as well. So yeah,
he was Bond with that Mary Poppins accent, and they just like pegged him like he wasn't even really a British guy, and they beat the heck out of him. Oh, I thought, nah, what's going on? But get him.
Was that Dick Van Dyke you were doing there? Yeah.
MI6 didn't even give him any weapons. They just sent him to die. We gave him some chalk to try to draw his way out of it.
Yeah, it was he wrote the original. But I was wondering, I was wondering if Richard Maybaum wrote the screenplay, because we're on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang Day. Who saw that coming? Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
now.
the screenplay was Roald Dahl and Richard Maybaum worked on it. So that's two. So you've got Ian Fleming, who created Bond, who did the book, and then you've got Roald Dahl, who did the screenplay for You Only Live Twice, and you've got Richard Maybaum, who did Doctor No and loads of screenplays from then onwards. So yeah, so the Bond is embedded in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and you've got Gert Frobe, who was Goldfinger, and yeah.
So
terrible movie.
Let me ask you this. Usually comedy actors, they can do some pretty good drama.
Yeah.
All right. What older, go 40 to 60s, what older English actor do you think could have had a shot at Bond? Maybe, like.
Right. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to come back and think about it. I'm going to go and turn my heating on, because
he's
it's a
going
bit
to get
chilly
drunk.
here. 1:15, so I'm just going to go and turn my heating on. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
That's a great question. I don't know. You'd have to give me a lot of time to think about that one.
Just so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I could think of all the ones that wouldn't really work. I mean, there's like, was it Terry Moore? No. What's his face? He sounds like this. Bond, James Bond. Got the big gap in his teeth. That's Terry. Let me see. Jungle Book. Or I think he was also in that second Tales from the Crypt movie, The Haunt of Fear.
Right.
1967. I like the guy too. He's great. Where is he? He would be the Snake. Not Sterling Holloway. That's Sterling Holloway. Oh boy. Oh my God.
I'm so glad you turned up with your impressions. I thought I was going to go a night without them. I would have started having the shakes.
What the heck was wrong? What was happening with you guys? It was so dour.
We started off all right.
So sad. You guys were like...
It was my fault. I brought up Kevin Smith.
Let's set him off.
I know not to do that again. I should just keep him to apes.
Terry Thomas. Franco. That's who I was talking about. Terry Thomas.
Yeah, Terry Thomas would not have been good.
Maybe he would have been a good bad guy. Or an M.
Well, there's
he would have been a great Q.
There's a lot of comedians. There's a lot of comedic actors that I think would play amazing bad guys.
Yeah.
If they're in the right movie. Like, can you imagine, like, if John Cleese played like a gangster or something like that? I think that would have been fucking great.
You think so?
Yeah.
John Cleese is a gangster?
Yeah, but I mean, like a proper hardcore kind of gangster.
Not like sending the Ministry of Silly Walks after him. You can't shoot him because they keep on like slithering left and right and stuff like that. It's just like
kicks the bullets away.
That'd be awesome. There's so many like Monty Python sketches I could see like James Bond getting dropped right in the middle of like the self-defense weapons. I don't know if you saw that one. Where he's like,
Yes.
go ahead, get on raspberry, brandish it, be as nasty as you like.
Now, what happens if I come at you with a banana?
Banana stuff? When do we get to pointed stick?
Right, now moving on to the grapefruit.
Then just release the tiger.
Oh, I so need to rewatch the original Monty Python stuff.
I was just a touch disappointed with that when I bought the full series. Like, there's a lot of classic sketches in there, but there are some of them that can only exist in the 70s in Britain. You know, just like Saturday Night Live. Like, you watch the second season or something like that with like Dan Aykroyd and stuff. There's a lot of classic stuff in there, but when they start talking about like Carter and and stuff like that, it really only exists in the 70s.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people just go, or even Bill Clinton nowadays, people just be like, oh, yeah, that's funny. Ha ha. I remember when they joked about that. My grandparents joked about that. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys get dark when I left there? What happened?
It was all laughter and happiness, love.
Yeah, but you don't want to know what we were laughing about.
You're laughing about Terry Thomas as James Bond.
Oh, okay. That was ding dong. Yeah, okay. That's it. Get it now. Let's see. Yeah. Terry Thomas is. I can see that. But is that what he all came up with? Then?
You could see him as like 005, the one that gets shot in the beginning by somebody. Like, who's that? Yeah.
After 1950s, I would have probably gone with a young Sid James.
Oh yeah,
really?
Yeah,
because he's a spitting image, Daniel Craig these days. So we might as well have had Sid James as Bond. Yeah, it's a good actor, Sid James, when he was given a serious part to do. So he was.
What about
Patrick
McNee?
He would have been good, but he turned it down.
Did he? They offered it to him. Oh.
Yeah, but he turned it down because of the morals of the character. He wouldn't play a character like that.
Didn't have a trick umbrella, huh?
No, but no, he was very kind of like, if he was playing a heroic character or a character was meant to be seen in a heroic light, he was kind of quite strict as to how he'd accept a role like that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I like that. Oh, Tommy Cooper, that's a good choice, Adams.
Leonard Rossiter.
Leonard Rossiter, yeah. Actually, I could see him doing it. I could see him playing it straight and doing it.
Do you think? Who was it that was in the original Casino Royale? Do you think he would have done okay, given half the chance? Like, serious? It was
David Niven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first thought when you mentioned, because I think David Niven was like, that was kind of like what Fleming was going for, I think, and thinking about, somebody like that. Somebody like Cary Grant.
Yeah, he looks more like a Bond villain. Upturned nose and like the, hoity-toity.
Yeah, that's only because we've got the idea now of what a Bond should be like and what a villain should be like, I think. Because Niven was Raffles as well, wasn't he?
I think he'd fit. What else was he in? Because
he did play Raffles, didn't he?
Is he in a military movie? Any military movies?
Yeah, he was in the Sea Wolves.
Okay. No, I was thinking like he's got that like that look like
no love for the Sea Wolves.
Bridge over the River Kwai kind of like.
Yeah, no, he was in Guns and Navarone, wasn't he?
Yeah, because I know I think I've seen him in a military movie somewhere along the line, or a Navy movie or something. But
yeah, quite a few. Quite a few. I'm just checking it out so we can.
Pink Panther, September's Casino Royale, Murdered by Death. Ooh. That's how I don't want to go. Killed him to death. I imagine me like testing out like a parachute that opens on impact or something like that, and
like a fucking Wile E. Coyote cartoon. You just turn into that like little glimmer. Woo!
Yeah, I can see him working. I could have seen him working. Okay.
Oliver Reed.
Brian Blessed is right.
That's interesting.
Yep. Young Christopher Lee I could see working, but
I'd almost see Oliver Reed.
Oliver Reed.
Tough freaking
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that working. I could see that working too.
Cary Grant. I don't know if Cary Grant. I don't know if I could imagine him being Bond, James Bond. Hello. All you lovely ladies, do you know where the bad guys are hanging? I don't know if I could see that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Were you doing Cary Grant or were you doing Tony Curtis doing Cary Grant?
It's about the same. I did not care for that movie. I tried to like Some Like It Hot.
You don't like Some Like It Hot?
I wasn't a huge fan. I just kind of sat there like twiddling my thumbs watching the movie. I don't know.
Speechless, Stato. I'm speechless.
Yeah, well, you know what? I do have that effect sometimes.
Wow, that's yeah.
I tried so hard. My wife really likes that movie, and I tried watching that one. And we even got the Criterion Collection release, real nice. But because I was going to give it the best picture possible, but I just kind of I was bored, so bored. There's no explosions. There were no like fights. I didn't even need any of that, but there was none of it.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked. There's the St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
You know what bugged me? Marilyn Monroe. When she does her thing like this, and she talks like that the whole time. Like there was a point when she was talking, when she was explaining to them in the car or something, she actually sounded really good. Like, you know, she wasn't even acting. And then she goes back into that sound like this, and it just drives me crazy. It does. It didn't drive you crazy?
No.
It drives me crazy.
No.
It's like what's your problem?
That would make my top 5 comedies. If I was to pick comedies, that would make my top 5. It would if it was to pick my top 3 Billy Wilder films, it would be right in there. My top 3 Billy Wilder films. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a big. I'll probably watch that every 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I've seen it. Yeah, definitely.
I could probably do it every 10, 15 maybe.
Yeah. No.
So next time I see it, I'll probably be in my 50s.
I've probably watched it twice in the past 18 months or so or less. Yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, no shame on you.
Yeah.
No shame. I actually thought, my wife really likes Rock Hudson movies. Quite a few of those are funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of good Rock Hudson stuff. No, I mean, hey, look, we're going to do Albert Pie on Thursday, so let's.
Yes.
If there's anything against Some Like It Hot, it could be more apes. Other than that, yeah, that's about it. John Pertwee, yeah, he was the James Bond of the Doctors, so you definitely go with that. What's he? Is he stirring it? Is Pete stirring it?
What I think of The Wicker Man? Which one?
I was about to say, are we talking the original or the remake?
But the original. Come on, guys. Come on.
Oh,
it's Pete. Surely it's the original.
I thought that would be the case, but you have to make sure, you know.
Well, the ending left me a little burnt out. But,
oh,
I mean, you know. It was a cult classic, I hear.
It was. It still is.
In the movie, too. It's their favorite concert, the Burning Man concert.
Oh, man.
Oh, dear.
I'm just jumping through all the charts here. There's only one. There's only one Wicker Man.
I don't know, man. That other one, I haven't seen it, but I saw a clip. When he busted in and like like gave this like amazing kick right to what's her face, Kathy Bates' chest. Oh, I laughed. How I laughed.
It's if you ever catch it on the TV and just watch some of it, it is actually quite an enjoyable bad movie.
It's Nicolas Cage getting to be crazy.
Yeah, that's what makes it. But it's not just that. It's kind of like, I think it is. I think it's genuinely supposed to be funny. I don't think it's a case of it's just funny because it's bad.
I don't.
Right.
The only thing I think it was missing was if Nicolas Cage did like that Will Ferrell shtick from Austin Powers. I'm in the man, and I'm burning. Can anyone get me a hose? Perhaps some ice. I would really like a flame extinguisher now. If anyone for like over the whole credits.
Yeah.
It's getting hotter.
Yeah, it's a shame that it exists. So it is a shame it exists. You know, it's like remaking Some Like It Hot. You just couldn't do that.
I mean, Nick Cage.
I haven't seen either of those two.
Yeah, they're both.
Everyone speak
But
highly
isn't he
about
doing
them.
his craziness in those two? Like, just that's Nick Cage plays crazy now because that's what people expect out of him.
Yeah, they just.
You mentioned that movie
Tom
last
Cruise
week,
crazy.
Statue. Or was it Willy's Wonderland?
Did you say statue?
I don't know. Quite
Barata?
possibly.
Nicto?
Statue.
Nosferatu.
No, it's a statue. Do you have a Hervé Villechaize avatar there? That would be statue.
Statue. Statue is your evil twin,
That's-
isn't it?
No, that's what Wullie had to say to get me in here. He said, statue, Barata, Nicto. And I appeared.
Right, oh man, this is amazing. But we went straight from Fantasy Islands to classic Robert Wise science fiction.
But yeah, you mentioned last week that is it Willy's Wonderland?
Yeah.
It's always Willy's Wonderland.
He doesn't. Woolie's Wonderland. He doesn't speak at all in the movie, so he just gets
like
crazy.
I haven't had.
He's a fan of silent movies. I wonder if he really wanted to give like a silent performance in a movie, and that's how they sold him on it.
Possibly, or maybe it was just cheaper if they hired him, but he didn't have any lines.
Well, he still gets to go as he's fighting stuff. That's just one line.
Yeah, I don't think that's really a line of dialogue. It's more just.
Hey, when you're lettering a comic and somebody's screaming and you're like, you're gonna find a way to spell it. It's still a line.
Yeah, in a comic.
Sound effect at that point.
In a comic.
Yeah, but he's a huge comic fan. This is basically a live action comic to him, I'm sure.
No, I still haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I've seen some clips, and man, I think your description of it sounded a lot better than the clips that I've seen.
Well, it's not. Let's just be honest. It probably cost about $100 to rent the place, and then a little bit for craft services.
How much
on set?
How much do they spend on the amount of beer they had to keep fueling Nicolas Cage with to keep him going?
I think that's part of the craft services thing where he's got like a colostomy bag with a needle kind of thing. He's on a drip, so he can just keep on going. And instead of like, and then I feel like he's gonna have I feel like Nicolas Cage must have a special handler with him now. He might stop and then he'll be like, "Why is everyone staring at me?" It's like
I'm just having a flash forward to we're YouTube sensation and we're invited on a show with Kevin Smith and Nicolas Cage. Just I can see that in our future.
And they'll show this clip, and I'll be nowhere to be found. Where's this guy? He disappeared. No one's ever seen him.
Pete's
again.
not sure what to think.
I've just seen the pinball machine clip. Oh, I know what that's all about.
Did I ask this already? Is it on Tubi?
Yeah, no. It's not even out on video. It's on that preview racket they got where they charge you $20 to rent it.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was supposed to go to theaters, and then for that 3 months before, but until it comes to Blu-ray and stuff, it's $20 to rent, 15 to 20 to rent, kind of thing, and then it'll drop down to like 10 for a little while once it comes out.
Yep. Oh, I did answer this, but I think I'll let, I don't know if everybody else answer this, because I think Pete in the chat will probably know. I think everybody knows who would cast and from when.
Yes.
So who's going to answer this for Silver?
Caroline Munro.
Yeah, Caroline Munro. It would be 1972, 73. It would be made, so we get a time machine, go back to then. It would be Hammer, but they would do it as a co-production with a big studio because they were stopping kind of doing that at the time. But that would mean they would have to bigger
I would have
budget.
said Fay Ray. Let's just go back further.
You know. It would be Caroline Munro, and we would have, who would we have? Oliver Reed as the banter demon, I think, something like that. Just to mix it up a little bit.
Not Daniel Craig?
No, we're more likely to have Sid James than Daniel Craig. And I would probably go for Peter Cushing as the Tatty Bogo Man. Yeah,
interesting.
Who would direct?
Be a very different role for him.
Yeah, what he can do if you watch him in From Beyond the Grave, where he's kind of quite funny and cheeky and stuff, he could do that kind of stuff. I'd get to do a Scottish accent as well. That'd be interesting.
What about director? Who would you have directing it?
Whoa! No, this is you would have thought about that.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
That's not the direction I was going.
It can't do it because it has to be.
This isn't Piss Off Bonnie Night.
It has to be somebody from 1972. So,
okay.
So who would I get to direct?
Ed Wood.
Edwards. Was he still alive in 73?
He might have been. His ghost probably could have done it.
He's got Edward's ghost directing a Hammer. Maybe that would be the other studio would drop out. It's no longer a co-production.
Sounds like a movie that'd be on Tubi.
Yeah, I'd watch it. I don't know. 1972, 73, because I have to keep it real. It can't be like a big director. It has to be somebody that would be directing that kind of movie. With that
I was going to say Sergio Leone, and everybody could have extreme close-ups every 4 seconds.
Yeah, I would do that. I would go for Sergio Leone, but then I wouldn't get Caroline Munro. I'd have to go for somebody else, like Gina Lollobrigida or something like that. You know.
Well, I'm just googling someone to make sure that they were directing films around that time before I say who they were.
Robert Faust would be a good choice. I wouldn't mind a Robert Faust.
One of the Dracula directors or whatever like that. Like maybe the guy that did. What was the one after Dracula? There was like the Dracula's Brides. The Ponzi-looking vampire with the.
Yeah, well, that was the same director. That was Terence Fisher.
Terence Fisher,
he did both of them.
He be your guy?
No, Terence Fisher's good for Gothic, but no, it has to have that kind of 70s vibe. So yeah.
What about the guy that did Dirty Harry?
No, we're not having that. Yeah. Don Siegel, that's a good call. Yeah, he would probably do that. Come over, go a wee holiday in the UK, but he probably would. His heart wouldn't be on it. I'm overthinking this. Norman J. Warren. Yeah.
Well, who about now would be the guy that would fit?
James Whale. If we were going back to the 30s, yeah, okay, then maybe get your fairy in there and James Whale. That'd be a good shout. Who now would be a good fit?
James Wan?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. James Wan. I still would like to see it though cheaper. It's like so I'd be more likely to go with sort of like that. Jesse, what's his name? The guy that does the Scott Adkins movies. I can't.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I can't see big budget. I can only see kind of low budget for whatever era that is getting done. That's the big budget version is the comic book in my mind.
What about? Let me think here. I gotta get the director, the guy that did Craig Gillespie. I don't know. Well, maybe. Interesting. He's got an interesting.
Yeah, he's not a bad call actually.
He did the remake for Fright Night.
Yeah, I can see him working.
And then he's got I, Tonya, Finest Hours, $1 Million Arm. He's got he's from Sydney. He's got a very varied Oh, he's doing Cruella. Holy crap!
They're both good calls there. Pete, maybe get in touch with them and see if they're doing anything. Our man's back.
Well, that will teach me for Googling Jess Franco.
That's done it.
Oh, you got the Francos in the computer. Dang.
I get up Google. I Google Jess Franco. It doesn't give me any search results. It just kicked me out of StreamYard. And I come back and neither of you have a guitar.
That's both of us tonight, though. Both of us just kicked it, you know. You're the only person with the guitar, so that's a problem.
It's your turn next, Stato.
I'm super non-threatening. StreamYard's never.
Neil Marshall, that's a good call. Yep.
Ooh.
That is a good call. I'll be honest, that was a name that I thought about when I was thinking myself, who would I like to see when I first started doing the whole thing, who would I like to see doing it, and Neil Marshall was the one director I thought about that would have that kind of so if it wasn't going to be big budget but not dead low budget, who could do a good job of it. Yeah, that's a good call. Yeah, it comes to pipe dreams, you know. So who's the director then? Who's the dream cast and director for Lady Satan?
That's a really good question.
What era? You need to be specific as well, so it has to be. Are we talking maybe 1984, that kind of video era? You know?
Yeah. I think it would have to be like mid-80s.
I was going to go out on a limb and say Tom Six.
Oh no! No, I would like something that isn't like a mess. That's a really.
I'm betting you'd probably go for somebody like Clive Barker or Stuart Gordon. I can tell by looking at it.
Actually, no.
No, wow.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think they would be right for it because, okay, it's Lady Satan, but it's more like crime horror than anything else. Ooh, that's an interesting.
Yeah.
I would think it would be about mid-80s, kind of 1985-ish, because that's when George Romero did like Day of the Dead, and I think that kind of tone could be really interesting for something like Lady Satan. But who would I cast as Lady Satan? That's
from the 80s.
It's not an easy one because it's not something that I think about at all. To be honest,
I would take it right back to 76. I'd make it Grindhouse, and I'd have Pam Grier as Lady Satan.
I really quite like that.
Does that sound? Yeah, that's coming at it from a slightly different angle, but that's my casting of it. Yeah,
that's interesting. I like the Grindhouse. Yeah, because I think it would really suit kind of like that era.
And
that would have been well after like the Ruffy were done and stuff. So yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know. It's a weird one. It's something that I'd have to like take time to think about because I've been asked this question before. Like, if someone made a movie of it now, who would you cast? And I'm like, I don't really know because that's not really something that I think about.
Pre-Frighteners Peter Jackson.
Nah, because then it would start getting a bit too comical. Like, look, I love Peter Jackson. I love Bad Taste, Brain Dead, Meet the Feebles. I love The Frighteners as well. Such a great fucking movie. But no, I don't think that would work. Sex exploitation.
What about somebody like who was it? Kevin Tenney. Did Night of the Demons.
Oh, right, okay.
It depends on like how like big or small budget we're going. Like if it was
I don't think he had much budget on that movie.
No, but if it was mid-80s and it was kind of like a modest budget, then like I said, George Romero, I'd like to see how that would turn out. But if it was like a bigger budget movie, a more high concept movie. I think like John McTiernan, like around the time of Predator, would be good for that kind of thing. But picking the lead, that's the one that I just can't seem to pick anyone. Like I haven't seen any actress that makes me think her. It has to be her. Like I've done that with other characters before that I've worked on, where I've seen a certain actress and gone, yes, them. They would be perfect. But I haven't seen one actress that I think if there was a Lady Satan movie, they should be Lady Satan.
So you're telling me a movie from the 80s, leading lady, and you wouldn't cast Molly Ringwald as Lady Satan?
No, I wouldn't. I think Roseanne Barr would have more chance than Molly Ringwald.
That's fine. I see how it is.
What if we go into like Italian exploitation and do Joe D'Amato's Lady Satan?
or Dario Argento's.
I was going to say him next.
Yeah, no, I've not cast it yet. I've Laura Gemser and Joe D'Amato's Lady Satan. There you go. Just put that one out there.
One day we will make these happen. You know, in an alternate universe
with a time machine.
Yes, it's happening as we speak. Whilst we're sat again. What about this person?
I'm trying to think.
In the 80s, it would have been like Sharon Stone would have been. She's like early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Phoebe Cates would have been giant at that time.
I would possibly go a little left field and suggest Meg Foster.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dolph Lundgren.
Oh no! Scrap Meg Foster. I'm with you.
He can pull it out.
Yeah, I can see that, Pete. Like, it's someone I had on my podcasts recommend. They asked me the same question. Like, if someone picked up Lady Satan now and turned it into a movie or a TV show, who would you want? And I said, I really don't know. And like, I just did that kind of like that flippant thing of like, oh, well, I've been watching The Boys recently. So the girl that plays Starlight or whatever, her, we'll just go with her kind of thing. And they came back and said Gina Carano. And I was like, I get why you say that, but I think what people tend to forget with a character like Lady Satan is like, this is no offense to Gina Carano, but when you look at like her build, she is a fighter, right? Lady Satan is a stripper who has learnt to fight. There's a big difference between the two. So you would have to cast someone who's got that kind of like that hourglass shaped figure. You would be looking at someone who looks and walks more like a model on the catwalk than someone who can kick your ass. She's meant to be equally seductive as she is vicious and violent. And I think that's part of the reason why it's very difficult for me to go that person.
Well, you got to go 100% unknown. I always say that's a cop-out answer.
No, I do agree with that. I do agree with that. That's probably the best way to go forward with something like that.
But I do have a slight grievance.
Go on.
Why didn't y'all tell me I look like a Wonder Bread package? Staring at it. And I'm not DNA.
I thought you were Twister.
Twister?
Yeah.
Like the T-Rex Twister that like came out of nowhere in the movie?
No.
I just thought that one of my Pepsis had been spiked and I was just having a good time, to be honest with you.
We've got 1980s.
Twister was the T-Rex. I'm convinced of it. I think the T-Rex died and he became a ghost, and that was the Twister. Because there are points where they're sitting there watching a movie, no wind, none whatsoever, and all of a sudden, and the screen starts going like nobody notices. A tornado coming at them. Like they're just
that's every Jurassic Park, isn't it?
Well, that I noticed it in the theaters. All right, when I went to see Jurassic Park when it came back out, every time the T-Rex, there's 3 or 4 major scenes the T-Rex shows up in. Every time there's the tremors, right? Okay, so before he's being chased the Jeep, there are no tremors. So he would literally have to be standing there in the dark behind that tree, watching them, and then go, and like bust out of the tree. And then there's the next time when they're fighting the raptors, and he just shows up out of nowhere. He like tiptoed in there, and then started eating raptors. There was nothing. There was no indication that he was around, and then all of a sudden he just shows up. No tremors, no loud footsteps. So I think the T-Rex has got some like solid snake action that we're not privy to.
Yeah, you might be onto something.
Same with the Twister.
There's some fucking good suggestions in this chat.
Yeah.
I quite like the Grace Jones suggestion.
Grace Jones.
That's really
She's
not
scarier
bad.
than anyone else.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like with Lady Satan, like I said, because she's a stripper, she's meant to be very seductive. You know, like all men want her, all women want to be her, kind of thing.
Grace Jones, that's just intimidation.
But she does also have that stare when she is pissed off. Even though she's very violent, she's also a very caring character. Like, I don't want to give too much away from the book, but like there's one scene, I'm not going to say where in the book, but she's in a police station. She's surrounded by armed police officers, and they're yelling at her, "Get on the ground, get on the fucking ground." And one of them just says, "Get on your knees." And she just gives them that look. It's like she's been very kind to them up until this point, and then she gives them that look and just says, "The last person who made me get on my knees is dead in the room behind me." And it all just fucking changes. But then there's a point that happens later on, still with these armed police officers, where she literally turns around to them and is just like, the fight stops here because this person needs help. So it's finding someone who has that right balance of being able to like switch from like really quite caring and emotional to very logical and vicious.
Oh, so I guess Jennifer Tilly's out.
Oh, I don't know. Let's not write her off just yet.
She's got that stare. She can be vicious. Chucky's wife, for goodness sake.
No, I like Jennifer
Conan
Tilly.
the Destroyer.
I was going to say Conan as Lady Satan?
Yep, Conan the Destroyer. She's meant to be. She's meant to be softer in moments on that movie, isn't she? But
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly's not that
No.
voice.
I also like Silver's suggestion. Shave Gal Gadot's head and have her as Lady Satan, like if it was being made now. And I'm not against that idea.
Michelle Pfeiffer could do that with the stare and then the fighting and the Catwoman, for goodness sake.
Yeah. That's a very
And
good
I think
point.
she played a stripper in a movie. I can't remember.
Yeah, but is she not had so much work done now that she looks like an animatronic?
Retirement.
Depends on like which time period though, doesn't it?
I'm sure they're going to have like an animatronic
of
Disney
course,
ride
yeah.
for Marvel. She could get in on that.
Yeah, okay, so you get Pfeiffer, you've got the 80s, and you get Brian De Palma.
Oh, Brian De Palma, I like.
Sorted. That's that. Brian De Palma.
I was just about to say Demi Moore, if we're going back to 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That
I
could
think she and Pfeiffer could fight it out. That'd be great.
Yeah.
The whole film is actually like the fucking
walks in and then there's
the casting thing. Like, no, I'm gonna play it. No, I'm gonna play it.
That'd be great. One walks in all slow, and then boom, fist to the face, and then the other one's dressed just like her. And then there's got to be some guy there with a gun, like not sure which one to shoot.
This sounds like my dream Batman movie of Adam West versus Christian Bale. I'd love to see those two just fighting out. No, I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman.
No,
Adam West would win, of course.
Adam West,
of course,
right there.
Of course, we all know that's how it's going to end. But it would be interesting getting to that ending.
Yeah,
that'd be great. What is that? You just sprayed at me. Poison, citizen. What? You don't kill people. Well, I'm not. The poison will kill you. No. What it would be is he'd be on a ladder, and Christian Bale would be like stapled to his leg, and he'd be like trying to kick him off, spraying stuff in his face.
According to Pete, I've won, so I don't need to bother with my Mel Brooks and Bernadette Peters version of Lady Satan. So I'm not going to bother with that one.
But you know that someone would have to do like a spoof movie if it's made in the 80s. Someone's going to do a spoof movie
Somebody's
at some
going to do
point.
That's what I was thinking along those lines.
Yeah. So that's not out of the question yet. But Brian De Palma, that is a fucking brilliant suggestion.
Yeah, what's the last thing he did? He hasn't made a movie in years now, has he?
No, not in years.
That's because I don't know. I was going to give you a fact, but I don't have one.
Just make one up.
Yeah,
because he got tired of it. All right, he's still working. He did Domino in 2019. Sweet Vengeance is coming out. Catch and Kill has been announced. Redacted, The Black Dahlia in 2006. So he takes a healthy amount between 2006, 2007, 2012, 2019. He does it whenever he feels like it.
He's a bit because he's a Hitchcock acolyte. He likes to have everything totally planned down to the fine details before he starts filming.
In the 90s, he was doing it every 2-3 years.
Whoa! Look, Brian De Palma is the winner, but I do have to say, if for some reason his schedule was fully booked and he couldn't do it, there is Albert Pine. See, we fucking glossed over that one. We didn't. Oh man, how?
No, not really, because I have actually been looking. I'm going. I wasn't sure whether to share this because we were talking about.
I thought you would have won that Mears Sarch, the guy that did I Spit on Your Grave.
What, Mears Archie?
Yeah, okay. Or Stephen Monroe. I haven't seen any of those movies.
See, that's Joey Tamara, so the lassie if
I'm not old enough.
Miss 45, she would be good.
I'll never be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh, I'm trying to find what's her name. Sue. Have you seen like one of my favourite Albert Pine films, Nemesis? Had a sequel.
Yes.
And
Nemesis 2, Nemesis Harder?
No, Nemesis 2, Cruise Control.
Oh.
So he cast and get a load of this. There we go. This is who he cast. It was Olivier Gruner that was the lead in Nemesis.
Yeah.
So he replaced her with a female character in the sequels. And bear with me, I'm almost there. There you go. There she is.
Goodness gracious.
He cast Sue Price as a kind of female bodybuilder, fighting against all these kind of like cyborgs and stuff like that. So essentially what he was trying to do was he was trying to get a female Van Damme type character and kind of kickstart her film career.
Didn't work, did it?
It didn't. 3 movies though. 3, Nemesis 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
So we've been watching a lot. I haven't had a lot of time. I've got like 4 or 5 that I've seen that I remember.
Right.
That's what we were saying.
That's why I've got a special tier. Has anybody other than Wullie seen this movie? So we'll add them to that.
Oh, that's gonna be.
So that's gonna be fucking most of them.
It's going to be most of them, I think. Yeah.
Like there's just gonna be Doll Man and Captain America and Cyborg at the top.
I'll read all the synopsises and be like, "Oh yeah, that was a great movie. I watched the trailer."
So you've not seen like these Charlie Sheen movies set in Glasgow, Scotland? No.
Which one's that?
No.
It's called the Charlie Sheen movie set in Glasgow, Scotland. It's Postmortem, I think it was called. I'm trying to remember. Postmortem, I think it was called.
I thought you were going to say Navy SEALs.
It's famous for all the stories that we had over here of Charlie Sheen going around in taxis trying to get, allegedly, just trying to get drugs.
The name of the movie?
Allegedly. Yeah, moving swiftly on. Yeah, no, he's worked with all the biggies. What was the Robot Cop film? I'm sorry, he's trolling us, aren't you? He's trolling us.
Well, I can only think of like 3 of them. You know, there was a remake I heard of this RoboCop. Are there any other Robot Cop movies that aren't RoboCop?
Yeah, he's not really a
Have to
robot.
be.
Is he really?
There's got to be some like Pretenders.
Have you never seen? Oh God, was it Godfrey Ho that did it? Robo Vampire.
Yeah, I'm not counting that. That's ridiculous. I tried watching it. There was
To be honest, some of Chuck Norris's movies, he's kind of like a robot cop in them. or is that just a wooden cop? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, there's a few of them.
Well, he only, see, the problem is he works alone.
Cyborg cop. Forgot about that one.
There's got to be like Mockbusters or something, right?
Oh yeah.
Don't like mockbusters. I'm not a fan of mockbusters.
No.
Like
Geeks,
Transmorphers,
nerds, Kevin Smith, Skyfall, mockbusters. The list is growing.
We're covering stuff tonight. This is a healing stream. I came on here so the healing
what I don't
begin.
like about mockbusters is kind of the same thing to do with whole geek culture as well. It's this knowing kind of like wink wink, aren't we funny sort of thing,
Yeah.
Aren't we clever? And you're like, no, you're not. Stop it.
No, the whole thing is they put it right next to the real one so that like grandparents that are going to get their kids stuff. They call them in retail. They call them what is it like? It's like granny foolers or something like that. Because when it comes out on the theaters, they release them on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, and the grandparents go in and they think like instead of Brave, it's like this movie that has that same font that says like Braved or something.
Yeah.
And they see that and they get that for their kids, and it's like some really inferior animation, kind of.
Yeah. And the kids just spend the whole of Christmas crying and hating their grandparents.
And I think
because
the Asylum's guy said, the guy that runs Asylum said, we made this so when somebody's going in to the video store and Transformers is sold out, they'll just see Transmorphers and be like, hey, that looks good. Looks about the same thing. Or, they confuse it and grab it right there, right at the end of the thing and then get it home. Now we have their money. We don't really care what happens. Yeah. It's just to cause confusion to take. I mean, it's not a terrible business model if you're kind of skeezy, but I mean, that's what happens. That's you fool grandparents with that. Like, I really want, the Avengers, but then there's that one. What was it like? It was the Avengers, but it was all fairy tale creatures. It had like Casper Van Teen in it.
It was something like Grim Avengers or fucking something.
Yep,
like
it's
that.
a Grim and then Avengers. Big fun.
No, I've got no time for that stuff. I've got no respect for the people that make it, especially as they know exactly what they're doing. They're preying on people like the grandparents.
Yeah, but also
how to fucking do that.
How much of that is like back in the day, 50s, 60s, these classic movies we got now, those actors were slumming. Like that wasn't like big time. That's like Vegas. You're going there to die. Yeah, doing those like the Incredible Leech Woman or something like that. Those kind of movies.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
And now I think that's the same kind of thing. A sci-fi straight to streaming movie is where people go for paychecks. And look at Tara Reid. She made her career on basically Sharknado.
But that's not the stuff that I've got a problem with. I mean, like the stuff like the Asylum doing mockbusters.
What's that?
I mean, the Asylum doing mockbusters. And
they've
stuff
had
like
plenty
that.
of not washed up actors. I don't want to say that. Actors that can't get as much work now.
Yeah, but it's still the fact, like you said, their business model is the granny something.
It's like Dean Cain getting them Hallmark money.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still that thing of like grandparents are trying to do something good for their kids or whatever, and they're being fooled by it.
Oh, I agree. They're not good. But then they do have their fan base of those people that love bad movies with like
they do
kind of like the House of the Dead Yui Bowl stuff. Yeah,
they do. I've known plenty of people who love that stuff, and hey, if that's something that you love, great, fantastic. But I do not respect the business model or the people that make the mockbusters. Like low budget B movies, bring it on. I'm all for that. That's great. But when they're like deliberately, like you mentioned, Transmorphers was one of them. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah,
and I don't like it. Don't like it one little bit.
I'm sure I don't even think they cost $1 million to make.
No, probably not. They probably cost like whatever's in their pocket at the time, which is probably about $4.57 and half a Kit Kat.
Oh, is that craft services?
Yeah, that's the craft services.
Half of it's yours. You got to split it 5 ways with the rest of the cast.
But I guess it's just a personal thing for me. You know, I've seen parents and grandparents who they absolutely adore their kids and they just want to make their kids happy. And they're just trying to do the best they can, but they don't have the same knowledge that their kids have.
You must hate GoBots.
I've never tried GoBots. Don't I really care?
They were the cheap Transformer when everyone was like, I want Transformers, yay, give me Optimus Prime. To come home with like Leader 1 or Scooter.
but like my point is that they're doing damage. Just because a parent or a grandparent wants to try and make their kid happy, not realizing like the damage that it's actually doing, because that kid doesn't understand when they're that young that, you know, the older person's just trying to do something nice for them.
To be honest, I don't see them much anymore. I mean, I know they still make them, but I don't see them released all that wide anymore.
They're just on the Sci-Fi Channel, so nobody.
I think they do, probably straight to streaming now. It's probably way more profitable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, which, hey, if they want to keep their own streaming service, that's not gonna fool anybody. Y'all know exactly what they're probably on Tubi. Let's be honest.
I think they probably are. Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely.
Everything else is.
I just cannot get behind that business model. I have no time for it, no respect for it. Fuck it. Basically.
You see, the thing is, it's incredibly lazy version of what exploitation cinema used to be.
They put all the money into the covers.
Yeah, but even your old exploitation filmmakers in the 70s and your EIP films, what they were doing was they were trying to gauge what was successful and doing their version of it.
Yeah,
and trying to be creative with it. And the whole asylum thing, the whole creative part is missing. They don't try.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're all they're thinking about is money, 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 money. How can we scam fucking money out of these people?
That's got to be the end credit song to one of those movies.
Yeah, it possibly is. They probably just fucking recorded it right now to use on their next one. They're secretly watching this stream going, he doesn't like us, but we'll take his music anyway. You know?
Been copyright struck by us.
Hey, Hex, Alan.
Hey, Hex. How you doing, man?
Yeah. You just caught it. We're not going to be here long, though. I'm going to tell you that.
No, I stretched it out longer than it should have gone because I confusified him with my avatar coming in. They were like not sure what to think. It's kind of like when you shine a flashlight in a deer's eyes and they just stop and go, "What?"
Totally bamboozled us. With facts, of course.
Yeah, I think what happened is I used a ton of big words, but they didn't know what they were, so they took it as an insult. But then they were like, he's a 2-foot tall bird. He can't do nothing. You know, like, let me go.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's a 2-on-1 thing. It wouldn't have been fair.
It wouldn't have been.
No. Also, you guys are,
But who would you cast as Zero Bird?
Who would I cast as Zero Bird?
Yeah.
Oh, let me think here.
You had Bill Murray as Garfield.
Oh, yeah. He of course, he cherished that role. Jeez.
Cherished it all the way to the bank.
Right. What now?
Or who would you have like animate it or work on it? No, anytime. It's like same as us, any decade.
Yeah.
Zero Bird would have to be. No, he might be a Don Bluth. No, that's too heavy. Because there's always going to be some horrible monster thing that's about to kill him or something like that, and like there's got to be a bad guy with a glowing eye for some reason. He liked those glowing eye bad guys. Y'all remember We're Back?
We're
Never
Back.
seen it.
You never saw that one?
No.
There's like these dinosaurs that come back to life, in like now times.
Right.
And they got to get to the Museum of Natural History. So then there's a crazy bad guy with like a screw for an eye. Professor Screw Eyes, my brother, and he's like this. There's this kindly museum guy played by Walter Cronkite. And then I think, was it Jack Palance? Or, no. It's a movie came out in 1993. And Professor Screw Eyes, that was his actual name, was Martin Short, actually. Oh, no, that's Stubbs the Clown. Right. Martin Short was in there, Julia Child, John Goodman, Felicity Kendall, Charles Fleischer. A lot of people in there. Was in it. Oh, well. Captain New Eyes was Jay Leno. There's a lot of people in here. But yeah, it's one of Larry King played himself. That's nice to know.
This cast, this is always a sign of a good movie, a cast like that, just...
Kenneth Mars was Professor Screw Eyes. Right. But yeah, so he was trying to like steal their souls or whatever for his evil circus or something like that. Or, like, it was just a really dark, weird kind of thing. And Bluth did a lot of those type of things.
I'm going to add that to my watch list after Playmate of the Apes. But, yeah.
Oh, what a double feature. I don't know. It'd have to be somebody that talks really fast.
Wise Guys is dropping the links like nobody's business.
Nice one, Wise Guys.
He's right. Oh, yeah. He's right. It'd have to be Hanna-Barbera.
Oh,
and if I had anybody...
What about Hal Spatula?
It'd have to be somebody that talks fast. Because half the time I'm surprised you guys can tell what I'm saying.
What was that?
Maybe James Cagney. He's the only one I can tell that talked really fast on screen. Yeah, old James Cagney. They got tired of slapping women around and shooting guys. He just wanted to be a bird. Museum of Natural History. That'd be cool. Perhaps a Museum of Supernatural History. Almost sounds like Night at the Museum. Like, they're all alive, for goodness sake. How do the security cameras not pick that up?
See, you've just put more thought into that movie than the people who made it.
Yeah, but that's my job. I've got to insult it because I'm a fan. Have you seen any James Cagney movies, Lucifer?
I can't say I have.
Really?
Really?
Ooh. They're good.
And we've just lost Wullie.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's all right. We'll keep it going, Stan. Don't
worry. He was known for talking really fast from New York, kind of thing. And the audience liked him because he talked a lot like them. See, he'd go on and talk like this, and everyone else was talking very, very slowly. And he'd come in there and he'd say, "Hey, what do you know? What do you say?" And just talk fast like a normal person. He's a song and dance guy. He did Yankee Doodle Dandy. It was like a tap dance type movie. And then he did stuff like Public Enemy. You'd probably like Public Enemy a lot. And Museum was also Museum. Yep. But he did this movie called White Heat with this.
Oh, that rings a bell.
What's that? Yeah, he's like a mama's boy. He's like a sadistic mama's boy. And his mom was the only one that he Fighting 69th was good. White Heat, Public Enemy, yeah, all of them good movies. He usually played a bad guy, but every once in a while he'd play a good guy in like a kind of a tough role or whatever like that. But he's one of those ones where in real life he was he's like one of the first or second, third presidents of the Screen Actors Guild.
Oh,
and so much so they almost the mob tried to kill him.
Yeah.
They were going to drop some stage lights on his head, right? But a friend of his, well-known actor friend, was part of the mob, and he called him up and said, like, no, you're not going to go kill James Cagney. So they didn't actually kill him.
Oh, God. I remember hearing something. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but it was either the Marx Brothers or the Three Stooges. I think it might have been the Three Stooges. Hitler actually had a plot during the Second World War to have the Three Stooges murdered. He absolutely hated them.
I'd be surprised. I think they're Jewish too.
Yeah.
I want to say Mo was.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
The chaplain, he thought he was Jewish. He wasn't.
He's back.
And the Marx Brothers were too.
The whole thing just kind of went there. Just my mind.
I thought you just decided to go to sleep.
I thought you must have done what I did and Googled James Franco, and it just.
No, that was earlier.
Just Franco, even. Sorry.
That's twice tonight. One time it just kicked out with you. Where this time it was my Mac just gave up the ghost. Doesn't like live streams at all.
And I'm sorry, Adams. I didn't pick up the guitar.
Shame.
Are we talking about Cagney and Lacey or Jimmy Cagney?
Jim Cagney.
Yeah, right, okay.
Love me some Cagney movies. He and Jimmy Stewart are my two favorite old actors.
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Of course, I liked Byrne too, and his wife.
Right.
What's his face? Oh,
Byrne?
now I'm blanking on his first name.
What are we talking about? Because
You know that he played God, and
oh yeah, thingy me. Oh God, with John Denver.
not Byrne.
He played God. It was.
Yeah, he did play
Byrne.
God. He had a voice like this.
He was. What was his name again? He was in.
Oh.
He was with Walter Matthau in the.
He had the
Neil
best
Simon
stand-up
one.
in the world. He lived to be like 100.
Yeah,
He
if only,
was still doing
if
stand-up.
only there was something I could type into to find out who it was. Let's see.
Let me type in the name of his book because I have that book. George Byrne, that's what it was.
George Burns. Yeah, George Burns.
Because I Love Her, that's why. That's the name of his book. He wrote it about his wife and the marriage.
Yep.
Yeah, George
he was in
Burns.
Sunshine Boys. That was the film he was in. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, his old comedy show was really funny. He and his wife.
Mm.
I don't know if you'd ever heard it. They used to do radio shows, recordings of it too, along with like Abbott and Costello around that time and The Big Show. And
No,
course,
we know of
80
them in retrospect with people talking about them from then, you know.
oh, geez,
Because
look at
we never really got that stuff.
Hex Allen and Not My Monkeys had it like 6 years ago. That was crazy. Burns and Allen, that's right. Yep, perfect. Absolutely. I'm getting a little tired. Yeah. I don't know if you guys listen to much old time radio. I listen to a ton of it because, like I said, I'm older than all you.
Yeah, I listen to some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you like?
I've been listening to like kind of abridged versions of like plays and novels, like 1984, that kind of stuff. 1984 with Vincent Price. There you go. That's what to check out. Yeah. I've been listening to The Shadow as well.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that which version?
Oh, I'm not too sure which version. I've got it on the old YouTube.
Because there's, those one was with Orson Welles, and then, went on
yeah,
to do some other stuff.
right. No, I think it's the ones I've been listening to are a mixture of Orson Welles and it must be post Orson Welles.
If you guys haven't seen listened to Lights Out, that's a good horror show. It was known for its realistic sound effects at the time. So it was like late night, sort of like put the kids to bed. They don't need to hear this kind of stuff. Lights Out. What else? Phantom Stranger was good. The Whistler. Green Hornet.
Oh yes, Green Hornet, man.
I think the Phantom had a radio show, but
wasn't there an old
Superman had a long run?
Yeah, and Dick Tracy as well. Dick
Tracy. The Inner Sanctum. That was a really good horror show. Except then they brought in they got sponsored by Lipton.
Right.
So they always had this he was like a crypt keeper kind of guy, be like, "Come on into the inner sanctum," and then you'd have some like puns, oh, there's my friend over there. He hasn't moved for a long time. He's always lying around, and stuff like this. And you're just like, oh, it's a dead guy. Okay. But then they have this lady come in and she's like, you'll appreciate a cup of Lipton iced tea. And then they have that guy with her after a while, like, oh, I bet it's got poison in it. Nope, it's got all natural ingredients and stuff. It was such a weird thing to listen to. When they brought like this crypt keeper dude with all these like macabre puns and stuff, and then she's over there like, pull some Lipton out of your cupboard along with the skeletons, right? Nope, no. It was a lot of fun. Inner Sanctum with Boris Karloff. No, there were some Inner Sanctum movies, and they all had Lon Chaney Jr. in them. Boris Karloff might have done some stuff. It was really big, but I don't think he did. I don't know that he did, if he did TV or not.
I would just Google it to find out, because I remember taping this off the radio, like the old tape recorder.
Which one, Inner Sanctum?
No, this is a 1975 BBC adaptation of Dracula on the radio.
Yeah.
Which I recorded so that I could listen to it.
There's also Lux Radio Theater, where they'd take movies and turn it into radio plays and stuff like that, so you could listen to stuff that way. That was really good.
I made a wee kind of like inlay for it by cutting out a part from a cover of Dracula Lives comic book, so that I could have like a proper cover for it as well.
I think there's a ton of that on archive.org.
There is. I think, the Shadow ones I'm listening to are on YouTube. I think that's where they are. But it's no rhyme and reason to it. It's just when new ones come up, I see them.
Oh yeah, there's lots of different Lights Out, all kinds of old time radio on archive. Great stuff. Really good to work too, because you don't actually have to look at anything.
Captain Kremen.
Then there's tons of westerns. I'd listen to the Jimmy Stewart Six Shooter. He was in a show called Six Shooter. It'd be great to see him sitting there in his radio program. There's a guy coming on over here, making footsteps. Yeah.
We finally got to the westerns.
Yeah, there's a lot of old-time radio westerns.
It basically leads to the westerns. Yeah.
There's all kinds of westerns. What else? Gunsmoke. They had a long-running Gunsmoke.
Yep.
Series. They had Have Gun Will Travel with the actor from the show, and I think Bonanza had one. I can't remember.
Yeah, this is like my brain right now. So I'm with the actor from the show.
It's okay, Pete. I'm older than all y'all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna maintain that now.
Nonsense, Stato. You sound no older than at least 12. Easy.
12. Wow.
Yeah. You sound like a very young bird.
Very young bird.
Well, that's on account of the surgery I had. You know, some new vocal cords put in there. Very nice.
It could just be you dress young for your age, or, by the look
of
it.
Yeah.
If I were to take out my vocal cords and put the original ones in, probably sound a bit like this. I feel so young.
Right. Well, I am like ancient.
I went to sleep at like 5 or 6:30 one night, and I think I was like, I'm gonna wind down at like 6, and Yan's all like, isn't it like 6:30 there or something like that? And I was like, yeah. So then I became old that day. We had a good laugh at how old I am.
You want to know something, Stato? In recent years, I have been known to take a nap before going to bed. That's how old I am.
That nap stuff.
Oh no, I need it, man. Otherwise, I don't have the energy to go to bed. And sometimes I'll even wake up and be like, I'm going to start the day with a nap.
For a long time, I did that weird thing where, you just take a couple of hours and then you go and then you take another 2-3 hours and just keep on going on like a 24-hour cycle like that.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of quite a few people doing that. Never tried it.
Yeah. No, it sucks. When you need to get stuff done.
Yeah.
I bet it sucks.
I'm probably going to be doing that soon, but I'm getting to crunch mode. But yeah.
It's like the sun's starting to come up there. You like look through the blinds. It was
not advisable. Not advisable.
I think if I tried that kind of sleep pattern, I'd probably like sleep for 2 hours, be awake for 1, and then sleep for 2 hours again, be awake for 1.
And then 23 hours.
I can't go more. 36, 38 hours is a bit, once I'm past there, I need to get some sleep.
Oh, I thought you were saying like that's your record for sleeping.
No,
buddy, that's a coma.
That's nowadays. That's about as much as I can stay awake. I used to be able to do like 48, no problem, but as you get older, it gets tougher.
Yeah, definitely. I really value my sleep. As Bill Hicks once said, I need at least 10 hours at night and another 8 during the day, and I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm sleeping and I don't realize it. So that's great.
Maybe we're all asleep right now.
Yes. Yeah. This is all just
It's the dream
fever
show.
dream.
This is actually just a dream and not my monkey's head. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is it a dream that we're not my monkey's head, but it's actually in Pete's head?
There's Wullie by Gaslight.
Oh, Wullie by Gaslight, yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to call it a night because it's nearly morning here now.
Yeah, no worries. My brain is starting to melt slightly. So
mine melted. See when my computer does that thing where I just disappear.
Yeah,
I get a sharp sound in my ear as well because the sound goes like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I think that just knocked my brain a wee bit wonky there. So
I think I confused the chat pretty well. They're all thinking like, "How old is he? What?"
that's my favorite comment in the chat all night. Is that one?
I remember being born.
We are indeed wise. We are in the Matrix.
Guns.
Right. Okay. Well, let's just pretend this was an actual show of some kind, and we'll wrap it up.
I think didn't you say like 10 minutes?
Yeah, that was.
I think I was supposed to. I botched that.
Yeah, I don't know why I let you in. Damn you!
I don't either.
Just written down Wullie by Gaslight. Yeah, that great double bill with Playmate of the Apes. But yeah, okay, yeah, we did. We did like zombie flesh eaters yesterday at some point.
Yeah,
and we talked about stuff, and we went all over the place. I let the internet know how much I like Kevin Smith and Geeks, and yeah,
not the Circus Geeks. You cool with them?
Totally, yeah, I like them.
Okay.
I like Circus Geeks. Totally, yeah. Also, I dislike the use of the word geek for that reason as well, because I think it demeans it's demeaning to circus geeks by using it for something
yeah. Wise Guys
pathetic.
called you the old dude that tried to get away. He called you Mr. Jenkins. With your haunted amusement park, you were going to cash in for some insurance.
I know. If you could just reach over and pull my head off, you see that this is not really my face.
Tatty Bogle Man for real.
It's Tatty Bogle Man for real. Oh yeah.
Oh my
That's
God.
what I'm hoping. After death, I come back as a Tatty Bogle Man. I can dream.
See,
I'm coming back as a Wonder Bread container.
We've got the ultimate like crossover comic strip there. Like if the Stato Bird teamed up with Jeremy to solve crimes, and the bad guy's the Tatty Bogle Man.
I ended up just crapping on stuff, to be honest. This stuff all confuses and mystifies me. I'm not sure who did it. I don't really care. I'm a bird. I found a fresh windshield. I'm going to ruin it. Let them solve that mystery of who did that.
Oh, right. On that note, guys, cheers, Pete. Cheers, everybody, for turning up and hanging around this long.
Good night, everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
We will be back here. All three of us are going to be Wullie and Stato at the movies, featuring for one night only Lucifer Storm, and we're going to be ranking Albert Pyun's movies. It seemed like a good idea at the time. I've got a funny feeling that it's only me and Pete in the chat that have seen half of them. And so I'm going to need you guys in the chat to help us out with this one, and we're going to rank and talk about Albert Pyun movies and just general sort of like low budget, almost Z movies, B movie to Z movie stuff, because he's made the whole gamut. Okay, and we will be talking about Captain America with his rubber ears.
Yes.
So we'll be doing that. We'll be back next Tuesday to do another one of these. I think I may actually draw and do something next Tuesday.
Did you not get cards done tonight?
No, because we just did zombie flesh eaters instead.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Next week, cards. I was all drawn out. It's been a long day. I was all drawn out.
Okay.
So cheers, guys, and that's it. We shall see you on Thursday, I hope, and we're taking a wee break from Thursdays for the next few weeks. and then we'll come back with something amazing.
Awesome.
Once Stato's decided what it is.
I get to decide.
Yeah, you're going to decide.
Yeah.
Oh, we're watching the birds.
Right, thanks, guys. Oh no, I'm out of here. Good night.
And
See